break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Into the forecourt, Neesmith. Turner is feeling it, and why not? Why not? Why not? A three from 2 miles away, out on the left side. This cannot possibly be happening.
It is absolutely insane what's going on in this building right now.
A 41-point lead.
Yeah, Pacers Radio, thank you for that. This game finished off as 129-109, and it was not even nearly as close as that final score. Welcome to the show, Maggie. Great, Andrew Perloff. Hope you had a great weekend. Bro, if I asked you who is the team to beat in the NBA playoffs, you just heard that Indiana beating Cleveland last night. They now have a 3-1 series lead. Who is the team to beat in these playoffs? Because I feel like I'm seeing blowouts every other second. I'm seeing teams steal wins and collapse in final seconds. Who is the answer to this question?
It's actually, so it's a war of attrition. I think still, if I had to bet, the one team that it's around at the end is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Just not because they're playing well, but just they're going to survive the longest in the sense that they're playing a very flawed Nuggets team. I think they've figured out a way to survive that series. Then they'll get a very flawed winner of the Timberwolves Warriors. So they survive in the West. And I just can't see the East beating the West because the teams in the East are all flawed. So we have a group of flawed teams, and Oklahoma City Thunder feels like it has the most depth and talent. They still come away with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe in the Thunder, to be honest. I mean, yeah, they won yesterday, but if that game had maybe 6 more seconds in it, I think somehow the Nuggets could have stolen that game away.
The Nuggets scored like 85 points or something.
87 points, the Thunder only scored 92. It was a 3-point game with 3 seconds left. I mean, and everyone's been stealing these wins away from each other. And here it comes back to the Thunder. You hate to do this, but who on that team really understands how to close a championship? And do the Nuggets still have the best player in the world right now? It might be Shea, but right now it's actually still Jokic, but he was not good on Friday night, and he was not great last night. He was fine.
Feels like, I hate to say it, Jokic is wearing down a bit.
They scored 8 points in the first quarter and 18 in the fourth quarter. Yes, I think that's fair.
He has way too much to do on that team. And the Thunder, not to keep on killing Russell Westbrook, but they obviously, the theory that they only have to cover 4 guys, and now I think they only have to cover 3 guys because they realize Christian Brown is not an effective shooter
and
either.
Porter's hurt. I mean, his shoulder's kind of hanging off his body.
At least they put a guy on him. They basically, it's a 5-on-3 zone. So Brown and Westbrook are just left to float around, and their guys come and help on Jokic.
Yep.
It's a huge assignment for Jokic, and I think he's starting to wear down. So whoever comes out of that series feels like they're going to have a favorite. Beats the T-Wolves and the Warriors. I don't know what's going on there. So then you get the East. And I want to hear, I think you have a case for the East, and I just can't see any of these teams beating a talented, tall team from the West.
Listen, I'm going to go, if you're asking me who's the team to beat right now in the playoffs, I think I got to give it to the Pacers. And I'm not trying to be a prisoner of the moment watching them just absolutely fully destroy the Cavs last night. But, Donovan Mitchell is now on a tweaked ankle. We'll see what happens with that. I can look up and down the rest of the playoffs and see, okay, you got Nuggets are not at full strength and maybe not a great offensive team. I'm looking at the Celtics are a team that's hurt. The Warriors are a team that's hurt. I don't trust the Timberwolves right now because they can be a little Jekyll and Hyde. I'm looking at the Oklahoma City Thunder, have never done it before. At least I can look at the Pacers and say, well, their coach is a championship coach.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great. And they won that Dallas Mavericks championship with like a true team. Dirk was on a heater in that playoffs. He was super motivated. But at the same time, that was like a true team.
We are the New York Knicks.
Effort. Yes, the Knicks, but what's up with Karl Anthony Towns' hand now? And it feels like the Knicks have led that series for like 30 seconds. And somehow tonight we'll see whether or not the Celtics can tie it up to 2-2. I think the Pacers is my answer.
Well, let me just ask you this hypothetical. Say the Celtics do survive the Knicks.
But they're hurt.
Yeah, but
Porzingis has got an illness. I don't know what's going on with Jaylen Brown's knee.
I mean, you're going to be in a minority picking the Pacers over the Celtics if they get through. And also, by the way, the Knicks, The Knicks should have beaten the Pacers last year. They were clearly the more talented team.
They got hurt.
They wore down, and I'm not sure this Knicks team seems a lot better than last year's Knicks team. So I think the Pacers are going to be in a war to get out of the East. And then if they do survive, they're going to go up against probably, I would imagine, OKC or Denver, and there's going to be the talent deficit again. I understand what you're saying about a team. They go 6 deep with double-digit scores.
Yep.
But
and I think
I don't know if they have the
is showing he's that guy.
Halliburton's like compared to SGA.
Well, compared to SGA, compared to Brunson, yeah, there are guys who, in theory, compared to Tatum, I mean, there are guys who should be on paper like, yeah, you'd rather have them on your team. But what's the guy been doing in the playoffs? Can we just also what are we watching? With our eyes, which is he's been closing games for them. Last night it was a laugher. You didn't even have to. I mean, they scored 80 points at halftime. It was a full destruction.
People say that all the time.
He's got 2 voices. He's got a multiple array of looks.
Yeah, but he's going against, talking about a beat-up team. I mean, the Cavs are a shell of themselves.
Yeah, they are.
I can't believe they have to. Ty Jerome is killing them in real time. We're seeing this team. And I don't know where the team that got the number 1 seed in the East is not there. So I'm not going to give them all the credit. This is not a fully constituted team. Talking about an injured team. Darius Garland's not himself. So again, we're
but
seeing
he's
them
out there. Mobley's out there.
He's out there.
They're
Well, you
out
just described all sorts of other injuries of guys who are out there.
That's why I'm giving it to the Pacers, because I think that they're taking advantage of this opportunity. Again, they're up 3-1. They haven't won anything yet, but they're up 3-1. I don't know if Cleveland's magically going to get healthier. And then whoever it is it the Knicks? Indiana can beat the Knicks. Is it the Celtics? I think Indiana can beat the Celtics.
Yeah, but
then you're in the finals, and let's see what happens.
They'll be underdogs against the Celtics.
They're underdogs right now. They were underdogs against Milwaukee. This doesn't matter.
They were underdogs against Milwaukee?
I believe they were. Because there's not that, besides Halliburton, there's just not that guy where you're like, oh, is he the best dude on the floor right now? That was going to be Giannis. But I think you got to put that to the side.
Yeah, I would definitely take, my choice would be OKC in the West. Again, they might lose the series, and Boston in the East. Still, I hate to do that to you guys because I think the Knicks could easily win. But if I'm like Vegas, if I have to pull back and look at it, I just don't think that Indiana could knock out Boston. Because Boston, yeah, they're hurt, but they're definitely going to get healthier and more comfortable. They'll be pretty good favorites. So you're going with the underdog there.
Yeah, I might be. Let's hear from Rick Carlisle. I'm saying the Pacers appear to be the team to beat in the playoffs. Here's the Pacers head coach on how his team has handled being underdogs.
Back in the old days, before social media, you had newspapers and there was plenty going on then. Now there's stuff going on in real time, as you sit and breathe, So you got to try to know the things to ignore and just stay in the moment and stay in the process.
Yeah, I mean, that's a guy definitely going to be using some bulletin board material, and I think it's worked for them, quite frankly. I mean, look at what they've been doing so far, and they can rely on the experience of getting the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago. I just wouldn't discount them. And then, the thing is for New York, who's going to play tonight against the Celtics, and it was not pretty on Saturday afternoon for the Knicks. That was the only game they could play loose. And they didn't seem that loose. Tonight, they're going to be tight. I think. Tighter.
Let's go, Knicks!
Garden crowd's going to be nervous, especially if the Celtics get off to a good start. And then all of a sudden, if you're 2-2, and I hate to do this because I know we've got our Knicks fans here, but now you're in a 3-game series where you don't have home court advantage. It's not where I want to be.
Well, actually, this is 2025 NBA playoffs. The place you want to be is on the road. I mean, they're killing them on the road.
You're right, I guess.
So home court is not a thing anymore. But I got to tell you, I hear what you're saying. But if it's a close game, say it's within 5 points and 2 minutes left, so nervous.
The guy.
I'm so nervous about Brunson. I might even just turn on off the TV and say it's a Knicks win because the Celtics cannot figure out that guy at all. And the Celtics, it feels like, are not playing smart end-of-game basketball. It feels like they're choking a little bit.
Yes.
Not the Knicks. So the pressure is all on the Celtics still. I don't think that changes.
I know, but I just don't think these home courts, like we saw it in Boston, the crowd gets really nervous. There's an expectation there. Now, the expectation's not so much on the Knicks because Boston's the higher seed, but look at what happened with the Detroit series. Team definitely got tight because they were supposed to win going away, and Detroit really took it to the Knicks, and I think it did make for some nervous moments.
But to be fair, though, you could argue the Knicks seem to be most comfortable in the most uncomfortable situations. So
Get the out of here, Detroit!
So if the Knicks are coming into this game with some pressure, which I would agree with, I think you would argue the playoffs have shown that when their back's been against the wall, they have performed.
Yeah.
So that's going to be they're a very unpredictable team. So when you think they're going to win, they lose. When you think they're going to lose, they win, it seems like. So this matchup tonight is going to be throw it up in the air in terms of what's going to happen. I couldn't tell you.
Feels like it's the series tonight. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So as far as the team to beat in the NBA playoffs, I've got the Pacers and Perloff has the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, I feel like talking about pressure. I don't think Tatum is past this mental hurdle, whatever it is. Jason Tatum on the Celtics. I don't think there's ever going to be a repeat champion in the NBA while we're alive. I think it's over. I think it's a new champion every year. I've never seen it's so. We talk about all these teams, by the way. Isn't it interesting the level of talent and sort of production among them? It's razor thin. I mean, there is not obviously OKC is the number one seed in the whole thing, 68-14. But do they look? You watch them against the Nuggets. It feels like two even teams going at it. Where are the dynasties of my youth? We haven't had a repeat since the Warriors in 18, right? I don't think we're going to have one for another long, long time. Maybe the Celtics this year, but it just feels like there's no difference in talent between any of the contenders at all.
So what's changed in 7 years?
Free agency. There's no more super teams.
Free agency that came along.
Well, the way
80s,
free agency is built
70s.
with the Supermax, there's no super teams. 3-point line is evened out everything. Home court advantage has gone away. There's I don't know. There's no Michael Jordan. LeBron has gotten older. I'm just curious. Maybe there'll be another dominant player. Do you have a theory? I mean, first of all, I was watching this weekend. And I said, man, I miss the days of Jordan when you knew he was going to be in the finals every year. Yeah. Now it's just Jason Tatum takes his turn. Then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander takes his turn. Then Jokic takes his turn. Then Giannis takes his turn. It is something weird is going on. I think it kind of like the NFL parody, but they're definitely, it doesn't feel like, do the Celtics look like they are in danger of repeating right now? They better figure out something fast.
Yeah, no, they don't. And partly because they're hurt. And
they're old. I mean, Drew Holiday looks ancient. Al Horford is one of the oldest players in the NBA.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, they're really, their key players are getting up there. That's why they want Porzingis out there. I don't see it. And whoever wins this year is out next year. I guarantee it. Maybe they're playing too late. I have no idea. There's no Kobe. There's no singular force in this playoffs. A guy who you were mentioning Halliburton. I think you think Halliburton might be that closer. There's not the closers of my youth.
Technically, it should be Jokic. I mean, if you're asking just who's the best player left.
They saddled him with Russell Westbrook, so he's out.
I don't know. I don't think that's the only reason. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Do you like that or do you not like it? I mean, it was kind of cool, and I know this was one thing the NBA could pull off that is hard to do, which is there were seasons when we basically knew it was going to be the Warriors and Cavs at the end of the year, and we're still really into it.
That was that was even better. I think
the inevitability of LeBron and Steph meeting again, and then Durant kind of tilted the scales so much.
That part of it was whack.
Then it sucked
but
because the Cavs didn't have a prayer.
I think those finals were still very fun to watch. I think the ratings were definitely higher.
But it was 4-1 and 4-0 in the 2 years that Durant was there against the Cavs.
The last two were trash. The first two were great. The first two, Warriors 1-1, then LeBron 3-1. Those were...
Yeah, that was pre-Durant.
Yeah, because they felt like more even matchups.
Right.
And the third one, we kind of wanted to see what would happen, and the Cavs got smoked, and then the fourth one, we knew there was going to be a sweep, and it happened.
Felt like the third one was pretty competitive. Remember KD hit that big three?
Yeah, that was game 3.
Yeah, I just think that series you guys are saying it wasn't fun to watch. You do want the dynasties, right, though? Can we admit that? It's like the NCAA tournament. We want the Cinderellas in the first round. Then we want to see the teams we know late. Now, I mean, I would imagine an OKC Indiana finals would be not the highest rated one ever. I just think we do need a little consistency. You want to see... Don't you want to see LeBron versus Steph? Wouldn't that have been amazing?
But couldn't I argue that the Celtics have been that team? They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals 5 years in a row. They've been in the finals twice, and they could go back to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. They've been a staple.
But they don't get that. I mean, you just heard Maggie say the Indiana Pacers are the team to beat in the East. We don't respect the Celtics like that.
Yeah, no. Why is that? I mean, you got to answer that question.
Something about Jason Tatum.
I just think that this is going to be unfair, and I know I'm being unfair saying this. I still think there's questions about him. I know that's crazy.
Wow.
Dude's amazing. I'm sorry. Last year they finally won, and who was the guy?
It was Jaylen Brown.
It was Jaylen Brown. Then he doesn't play in the Olympics. Like, I don't know. And I know that's silly, and that was rotations, and that's, like, not a real data point because it has nothing to do with the NBA. But I don't know. I think there is still something there.
It feels like
he was good on Saturday, by the way.
It feels like that's almost like a weakness of the NBA that, like, Tatum has to be that guy because, like, they're a good team. Like, why can't they just be a team that plays good team basketball like the 70s Knicks who had multiple stars, right? Like, Tatum, I guess because we're coming from the Jordan era, everyone's trying to point to one guy that you can point to as a superstar. Like, maybe he's not that guy, but, like, maybe they don't need him to be. Like, they have a 5-man team that all those guys can take over at any point in the game.
Well, as far as this season is concerned, if Brown's knee is weird and Porzingis is dealing with this illness, like, this, I know he has a wrist injury himself, Jason Tatum, so it's not like he's 100%. But I guess, like, it's the same thing I said about Jimmy Butler a couple games ago. It's like, Steph went out. Where'd you go? You know, now it's like Brown is clearly compromised. The team, you know, Horford can't hit the ocean lately.
Horford's 38, guys.
I'm just saying. Yeah, he was a big part of the
playing 32 minutes a game. This is not the dream situation for the Celtics.
Like, Porzingis needs to be, like, studied in a lab. Like, what is going on with this illness? It's crazy. And you expect that he could take over a series. I guess that's what I'm
kind of curious. Where are those 6 men of the year guys? The Hauser.
Pritchard was awesome.
Yeah, Pritchard was good.
Game 3. He took over.
Yeah, but where's Hauser? I know he was kind of hot at the end of the year.
It's not good. He also got hurt, too. He got hurt in game 2.
And also, too, Derek White was the superstar. Like, I feel like he's a little bit less reliable last year. I know he's fine, but I don't know. I don't feel that way about the Celtics. I kind of with you. Like, I'm dying to see this Pacers thing. I think the Celtics will be heavy favorites. I think you could win a lot of money betting the Pacers if the Celtics get through.
I mean, is this question even, we're asking who's the team to beat right now in the NBA playoffs, like, the fact that we're even asking this, is that an indictment on the Celtics?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. 888-710-4ISN. Maybe the Nuggets too. 888-710-4476.
Sorry, was that a rhetorical question that I wasn't supposed to answer?
No, you were definitely supposed to answer.
Yeah.
I think every question needs to be answered. This one is tough though. I'm going to go with the Pacers. I guess maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment, but I don't think so.
They definitely have a lot of depth and talent, and they're tall. And Halliburton's what is he, 6'6"? Like they on paper look good. Again, though, you said that they know how to finish, not like the Celtics do. And also the Knicks, I can't count out my Knicks.
Don't let them.
What?
Guys, don't let them. Don't let them. I do have to say something that we'll get to in a second because I got to start off this Monday already with a mea culpa. We're not even 20 minutes into the show. I think Perloff was right about something.
Yes. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm going to double down on it.
It's not basketball. It's football of the NFL varietal. I think you were right about something, and I pushed back pretty forcefully. It's not even 48 hours later, and I think I may have lost this one already. Listen, I can own up to my mistakes. What happened over the weekend to now make me doubt myself and maybe think Perloff was right? 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476, and you can answer the question, who is the team to beat in the NBA playoffs? It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
Go Birds.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on the Maggie and Perloff show. All right, Maggie, you promised something I was right about and you were wrong about. I'm all ears. I'm ready for your apology.
I think I owe you one.
Okay.
We're 23 minutes into the show. It's Monday morning. I'm coming off a great Mother's Day. I'm feeling awesome about myself. And I'm like, damn, I owe Perloff an apology, don't I? Crap. You said that George Pickens was not going to work with the Dallas Cowboys, and I pushed back and said, no, come on, clean slate. He's going to be fine. You know, how's he going to out-distract Jerry Jones? He's like the biggest distraction of all time. Well, it's not even 72 hours later, and we already have a weird story. No one's even sure if it's true or not. It originated where else on the internet about George Pickens may have been calling out the Steelers, replying to a podcast that's hosted by two former Steelers. So it's like basically, you know, the former Steelers are on the pod saying the Steelers are thinking about long term. They're playing chess, not checkers. They're stacking, you know, positive season after positive season. And George Pickens comes out. Allegedly, there's only screenshots of this, and he's claiming this is AI and it's all fake. He said he was on a plane and didn't have any service. That he said, no, it's just that the Steelers are the cheapest organization. And so the story for like 24 hours was George Pickens calls out the Steelers for being cheap, which is weird to say because they just gave DK Metcalf $150 million. But again, he called him out for being cheap. Now it may be AI. The whole thing is it's always going to be stuff like this with Pickens, right? And this isn't even the stuff that matters, like being late to games, getting fined, multiple times for being late. All that stuff is maybe the real stuff that matters, but this is just, oh boy, I'm worried.
Well, to me, it's a calculation. Like the Cowboys, obviously there's a reason you could get him for a third-round pick. They have to try and squeeze as much out before trouble starts. That's the way it is with character guys in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, after he left Pittsburgh, teams were trying to get, okay, I know I'm not going to get 30 games of solid play because something's going to happen. So I think it's a race for the Cowboys. Can they get enough production out of him?
It's only May.
Well,
I'm not playing a game until
September.
September.
Get 10 games in. He's obviously, there's a fear that he's going to be unhappy about his contract halfway through the season. He said it's not an issue now. He's due a contract at the end of the year. So I get it. I mean, the Cowboys, right, they have to take a risk here. They know the deal. Like nobody is. There's no illusions about George Pickens. That's one thing I'll give this situation. I've never seen a guy with less expectations on the football character front than George Pickens.
That is true. No, everyone's expecting the implosion. I just didn't think, and this is not an implosion. This is a small story, but it's just one of those things where we couldn't even get through the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. The weekend. We couldn't get through. And to be fair, if the story is totally fake, then I feel bad for the guy because it feels like, someone's obviously trying to make him look bad after on Friday, all the glowing quotes about I want to be part of a winning culture in Dallas and I'm going to be part of the solution here and all that stuff, not the problem. And it's like we couldn't even get through the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, this is Dallas too, where there's a magnifying glass on at all times. Yeah, you know what? It's so crazy it might just work. But here's the thing. One thing you will say, like, it won't be a huge disappointment if George Pickens has an outburst because we're all expecting it. So at least we know. That's the best I can say about this situation. I generally don't think it'll work. I think Dallas is headed towards a tough season. I keep coming back to this. I think their competition is tough. I don't love the Brian Schottenheimer hire. I think right now everybody feels happy with George Pickens. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like saying, I don't care about that contract. I just want to be part of a team.
Right.
That's just not how the NFL works. Everybody cares about their money. Lamb's going to want his targets. They want to run the ball, and you tell me Jaden Blue is going to be Rookie of the Year, their fifth-round running back. I'm kind of into that. But generally, there's like a lot on the line here in Dallas. Like, it's just not going to be easy. They're, at best, the third-best team. Is anyone going to pick them ahead of Washington or Philly next year?
No, I mean, you'd have no evidence unless you just think that, we were talking about parity a lot to open the show because we're asking you which team do you trust in the NBA playoffs? Like, who's the team to beat? And you said we're not going to have a repeat champion now till the end of time in basketball, unless you just think Eagles are going to take a step back because, it's impossible to repeat unless you're the Chiefs. Jaden Daniels doesn't have like the linear sort of straight up into the right kind of graph as a second-year player. Yeah. Maybe there's a door that's open there at that point.
Yeah.
And Schottenheimer's got to be a lot better than we think he is.
I mean, right. It has been mostly Chiefs in the AFC. They've really dominated the AFC. So
yes, tell me about it.
But in the NFC, the Eagles have made 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. It's a tough assignment for Dallas. And listen, I get why they took this risk on George Pickens. I kind of agree with what you're saying, Meta, but I'm going to give him a chance. We're all going to give him a chance. This weekend, I'm going to give him a total pass on.
All right.
Let's get him in camp. Let's get him to Oxnard before we really, really start killing the Cowboys.
And then on the Pittsburgh side, I wonder, we don't even know if this thing is true, but were there some Pittsburgh Steelers fans that were like, are we cheap? Wait a minute. They get praised because they don't, they let these wide receivers go without giving them the $30 million, and then they end up being, either headache somewhere else or whatever. Now, they just paid Metcalf, so that's a little bit different. But does it feel like the Steelers are being cheap?
Is there one receiver they shouldn't have let go ever? Maybe. I know you're going to say Plexico, who shot himself in the leg, for God's sake.
Well, I don't know. He did catch the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, maybe the greatest upset of all time over Brady's undefeated Patriots.
That was fun.
I also don't know. Would he have gone to jail if that happened in Pennsylvania versus New York? Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty. Thank God nobody else was hurt. It was just him.
Well, they didn't.
But he went to jail for that.
They didn't need Plaxico though. They had wildly productive wide receivers while after Plaxico was there. I mean, they had AB. They had all these other guys. That's what they do. They draft character guys, and then they get 4 years out of them, and then they get rid of them. It's a good strategy. It's not. It makes actual sense. Now, DK Metcalf, I think they're going against the grain with this one. They're like, let's commit to a real blue chip wide receiver. I kind of like it. I'm a big DK Metcalf fan. I know he gets really pouty when he doesn't get targets.
Well, and he can be a personal foul machine too sometimes to get out of his head.
But he is he's much more consistent than George Pickens.
Everyone's more consistent. Pickens is like a disaster. The more we hear about this guy, the worse it is.
Well, Pickens has a drop problem too, and DK can have drops as well. But I think that's a big upgrade. I mean, obviously, there's a huge issue looming over everything Pittsburgh. Who's the quarterback?
Great question. 888-710-4. I said, I don't know. Andrew Bogusch is here. Maybe he's
Bogusch.
got a headline for us?
Nope.
Welcome back, by the way. How you feeling?
We're all back to good. All back to normal. And the Celtics won, so my mini hunger strike is over.
Yeah.
Now
you can return to work now. The sickness was all just a ruse because you didn't want to be near these guys.
So I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Scheduled to appear tomorrow. But we'll see how Game 4 goes first. Your headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go.
It's a hell of a hangover. It's like 4 days.
Commercial insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. The Cavaliers did half the job, almost even with the Pacers, winning Game 3 in Indy rather easily. But then the first half of Game 4 last night.
Final 3 seconds of the half. Neesmith gets a clean look off, and he hits it. Why not? The Indiana Pacers put up an 80 spot.
Spiro Ditas on TNT. 80-39 Pacers at the break last night. 41 points, matching the largest halftime lead in a postseason game since we began tracking play-by-play data. It ended 129-109 for a 3-1 Pacer lead. So it's time to play.
What the is
Kenny Atkinson doing?
It wasn't like, tactics or anything involved. They dominated us in every facet of the game.
And Donovan Mitchell has a left ankle issue, did not play the second half last night. We'll get an MRI today, but says he'll be okay for Game 5 back at home.
I just got to be so disappointed at Real Canoe. Atkinson's old team.
Oh, God. We're not going back to this.
Okay, sorry.
Maggie.
Go ahead.
Wait. Sorry. Kenny Atkinson's playing career is Maggie's third obsession.
Kenny Atkinson's playing career. How did he play for a team called Real Canoe?
A swimming club in Madrid, Pearl.
Sorry, Pearl. What were you going to say? Something relevant?
Are we worried that Jared Allen is gutting his Lakers value in real time during the series? I'm dead serious. Like, Jared Allen was supposed to be the truth for the Lakers next year, and now I think he's exposed himself? Or no, that sounds wrong.
Oh my goodness!
Easy. He's an upstanding citizzen.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
but
exposing himself.
I'm turning this mic off.
There was another game yesterday. The Thunder surviving Game 4 in Denver, 92-87 to even that series at 2. OKC was down 8 early in the fourth, but then the second unit went on an 11-0 run. Head coach Mark Daigneault.
We made a very intentional effort to use our depth today and get everybody going.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander still led them with 25. Playoff hockey, the Panthers blanked the Leafs 2-0 in Florida. 23 saves for Sergei Bobrovsky. So that series is 2-2 going back to Toronto.
Sorry, Maggie, sorry, folks. Maggie has this theory that's the drought buster year.
Yeah.
And hockey was helping her out, but now there was a little bit of the comeback of the non-drought teams.
I saw that.
Yeah.
The Maple Leafs, would be... If the Maple Leafs somehow do win, which I know would be such a huge story, one of the biggest stories in sports, period.
Definitely.
Don't you think, would you finally be on board that 2025 is the year of the drought buster / slump buster?
I will give you that. I will definitely give. You have a good case already that it is, but hockey was really lending itself that way. Now, the Stars haven't won since '99. I don't know.
If it's got a 1 in front of it, it counts.
But it's only important if we've been talking about it, like the Maple Leafs or...
All of Canada.
You've been discussing the Maple Leafs drought?
Well, yeah. that is actually, we had Biz on, and that's one NHL story that I think even casuals know really well.
I think I heard him yesterday say, put your 401k on the Leafs tonight. Hopefully.
Oh my gosh.
Terrible advice.
Yeah, hopefully no one listens.
Have you seen him? He's like devolving on live TV.
Yes.
Like the outfits are getting weirder and he's like disheveled now. It's amazing television.
I think
Mustache still looks great, though.
Mustache is still up one.
Does he have a lucky shirt? Because I was watching in between games and he changed into a yellow shirt that they said needed to be washed as if he won't take it off for Leafs games.
Yeah, this is Paul Bissonnette, by the way, we're talking.
Can I ask a semi-serious but not that serious question about this?
I love these questions.
Because I don't know if you guys saw Mike Tirico. He said that he kind of loathes watching. He was talking about SportsCenter, ESPN, of people presenting their fandom as part of like the show. And
he would have a huge problem with this show.
Well, yeah.
I've got a Buffalo Bills corner behind me.
I think Mr. Tirico would have a huge problem with every show. We're talking about Bissonnette's love for the Maple Leafs. Do you think this is at all turning fans off?
Well, you mean like the Stephen A. Nicks thing?
I assume that's kind of what I think that's what he didn't want to mention names. Maybe he wasn't trying to throw a rock through a glass here, but I assume that's what he was talking about.
Well,
go New York, go New York, go.
Is that not journalism?
I don't want to do that thing, but like it kind of depends on whatever seat you're sitting in, right? Like
he kept saying, and he thinks it's like anchors doing it too. He kept talking about anchors.
Right. So when I worked at Sports Illustrated for 8 years, I didn't talk about being a Bills fan on the air. I didn't do that. That wasn't the role that I was asked to be played. They didn't want my rah-rah fandom there. We were more doing capital J journalism or trying to do more of that. So there was just no place for it. Here, when I first got the job at WFAN, part of the interview process of me being like vetted for that job was they asked me who I'm a fan of, and then I saw two bosses deliberating in real time. Can we work with this?
Well, yeah, but that was local, right?
That was local, right?
Yeah.
So, like, me being a Bills fan, would that be a problem? Would that be an issue? They don't want me to fake it. I'm not going to all of a sudden show up and be a Jets fan. Like, they're just...
Not do Anne Hathaway, just be an Eagles fan. You're a lifelong Giants fan.
Stakes a little lower for
She's
her.
undefeated.
Yeah.
A lot of FAN fans are not, like our friend Gio, who does the morning show there. He's a Vikings fan, right?
Yeah. No,
Sal Licata's a Falcons fan.
It exists.
Okay, Mike.
I'm just saying that... I'm just saying they talked about it in front of me.
Punchy Utah Clapper.
I have a theory on why this happened, why there's been such a shift. I used to try and be objective. I worked for the NFL. You weren't allowed to root for anybody. I got rid of my Eagles fandom 100%. So I didn't tweet about the Eagles ever. And I had a friend from Philadelphia who said, you need to start tweeting about the Eagles. I'm like, why? He's like, what's the most popular podcast in the world right now? I'm like, part of my take. He's like, people don't trust non-authentic people on air anymore. If you don't say what team you're rooting for, people do not trust you. I think the media has changed so much, in large part because of podcasts, where you can't just be a robot. I don't think that
Okay, but Mike Tirico, think about what he's doing. He's doing play-by-play, so you don't want to appear biased there. Like, that's the one, because people are already going to think you're biased. Look at Joe Buck's mentions. I mean, he can't...
Yeah, I mean, look at what Gus Johnson was doing Dion games. That he got killed for that.
He did get killed
Gus
for
Johnson
that.
seems to be biased and just pure excitement all the time. I mean, to give Gus a break.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, it's first down in the second quarter, and he's like, here we go. Anyway, I love Gus. I think he's the best. But yes, I think it's play-by-play. You don't want people's fandom. And then Tirico is just a straight-up host. The Olympic coverage, like I never knew who Costas rooted for either. It's the same kind of lane.
But I don't think he understands the new age guys, because I don't think you can come up anymore and not be a fan. I don't think people buy it.
It's also hilarious to me, and this is news to me. I don't know what he said full context, but he's a Syracuse guy, and Syracuse guys love being Syracuse guys.
He definitely roots Syracuse. Yeah. Is college alma mater different?
Actually. I don't see Tirico being like, he doesn't tweet or anything. So he's not like
everyone
the other
else
guy.
does.
Yeah, everyone else. But Tirico is, I mean, first of all, Tirico used to call 5 games a week, so he couldn't root for anybody. He was nobody has ever worked harder than that guy. He's done more games.
Crazy.
And it used to be even worse. He used to do like, it's Bowling Green versus Toledo on a Wednesday night basketball game. I'm Mike Tirico. He used to be
Mike, give someone else a chance.
Yeah.
Leave some for everybody else.
I think he's old school, but I don't think you can be on SportsCenter or not and just be objective anymore. I think people want the personality. I mean, obviously Stephen A is the king of the mountain right now, and what are his favorite two favorite things to do? Root for the Knicks and
root against the Cowboys.
Root against the Cowboys.
His quote was, Stephen A. Smith is great. He's a friend, and he's done a wonderful job. I don't want time wasted during the NBA halftime show telling me about your feelings as a Knicks fan. I want to hear about the game and what I missed and what I need to look forward to.
I love every
everybody.
That's a Barbies. They only give everybody 13 seconds on that NBA halftime show.
Yeah, watch that halftime show. You won't even know who the Knicks are playing. They won't even mention the opponent.
There's just not enough room to really explore much. I understand what he's saying. I find that halftime show very frustrating too because I'm looking for some information. It's hard to get out in time.
Looks like you're on the side of Tirico.
Yeah. No. I don't mind that they root. Obviously, like who doesn't? Stephen A. as a Knicks fan is one of the most fun things.
Did you see Big Body Brunson?
Yeah.
Did you see him?
You're not into. Oh, I totally into it. And when the Cowboys lose and he does that slow turn to camera on his social media, I mean,
he's an episode of Law and Order this week.
Oh my God.
The drops are endless.
I mean, what's gonna happen when he's given the State of the Union?
I love Brian Windhorst. I love Jay Williams.
That's your Secretary of State right there.
No, just like his
FDA administrator, Brian Windhorst.
His State of the Union is just like, you mean to tell me Putin invaded another? I'm not even going to do a Stephen A. But the you mean to tell me's in a State of the Union would be epic.
Whoa!
2028, baby.
Oh, God.
I mean, LeBron is going to have something to say about this, so.
Ooh, counter campaign.
Yeah, I mean,
dirty tricks.
Maybe this is that is the whole source of this beef. We keep thinking it's about Michael Jordan. Maybe it's about the presidency.
Wait, I thought it was about Bronny. I didn't even know it was about Michael Jordan.
That's what LeBron wants you to think. In fact, they both are trying to elbow their lane into the White House.
Oh,
wow. Who would you vote for, LeBron or Stephen A?
Ass. Is Canada open?
They don't want us. I understand why. Oh, man. Bogues, well, we blew that one. Welcome back. Good to have you. Coming up next, we'll hear from you next hour. Coming up next, someone subtly throwing shade at Brock Purdy. You be the judge. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
Go New York, go New York, go.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. Got a couple things for you on this Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. First and foremost, who is the team to beat in this NBA playoffs? Is that a trick question? I don't know if there's an answer. I'm saying the Pacers. Perloff is saying Oklahoma City. And then we couldn't even get through a weekend, and there's already a story about George Pickens. We're not even sure if it's true, so I want to be fully, be careful here. Pickens is claiming it's AI, that someone created a screenshot of him calling out the Pittsburgh Steelers for being cheap. But
in the sense
we don't
that,
know.
Right. I read a story saying there's actually nobody has the Instagram story because he deleted it. So all we have left is a screenshot of it. But then I was dawning on people, wait, how do we know that screenshot is directly linked to his account? And somebody could have crafted it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of depressing. But even if he did say that, he said in this alleged screenshot said that the Steelers were cheap. I know why he feels that way. They didn't want to.
They didn't pay him.
They didn't pay him. And we all know why the Steelers didn't do that, because he had all these outbursts over the last 3 or 4 years, that he had some drops. And generally the Steelers, they're not cheap when it comes to wide receiver, but they move on fast, as they should.
888-710-4ISN. So that led to me apologizing to Perloff. Hey, you might be right. I was all high that George Pickens was going to take this opportunity and really run with it and maybe get the message that, hey, one team basically gave up on you, so here's your opportunity to make good with the Dallas Cowboys. Couldn't even get through a weekend without a story that looked negatively back on him. So we'll see if it ends up actually being true or not, and if we even understand what's going on. I do want to get to the 49ers, though. So here were some interesting quotes from their new offensive coordinator, Clay Kubiak. There's another Kubiak.
Any relation to Gary?
Grandson? Son?
Son.
Oh, so this is, okay.
Yeah. Clint and Clay.
Nepotism,
They're doing a
man.
Kardashians thing here, too, with the K's or the Knipples. Don't they do this, too? Yes. Anyway, here's Clay Kubiak, the new 49ers offensive coordinator, about how impressed, Pearl, the team was with Mac Jones, their backup, going back to his Alabama days.
Going back to college, like we obviously studied Mac coming out, and we thought very highly of him and his skill set as a thrower. And the things he did in college, and then obviously as a rookie, what he did in the NFL was very impressive. Mac's a really good thrower. He stands in the pocket. He's a strong guy, and he's really smart. And so he's got a lot of traits that we like for a starting quarterback.
I'm sorry, what? A starting quarterback? Mac Jones is the backup quarterback, right? Well, Clay Kubiak says, no, Mac's a starting caliber QB.
His career is he's kind of gone up and down a little bit the past couple of years, but we saw the same things in Jacksonville that we loved about him as a college prospect, and that really excites us. And he's doing a great job, and I think Mac's capable of being a starter in this league, and so he's going to help us if he needs to.
Okay, so this is all well and good. Like, you should be talking up your backup quarterback, right? That's smart to do. Someone gets hurt during training camp. Maybe Mac Jones gets traded somewhere. You never know. You want to show a lot of confidence. But, Pearl, it does feel a little different when you have your starter in a drawn-out contract negotiation. And Brock Purdy and Mac Jones both got the same number of Pro Bowls. One, I think that a lot of people believe that Brock Purdy's not worth $50+ million. So when you talk up your backup like this, considering the context of what's going on with Purdy, is it sending a bit of a message, hey, Brock, why don't we get back to the negotiating table here? Because we can win games with Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean, Clay Kubiak is a known Machiavellian force in the NFL. And when he says something, you don't know if this guy, no, this is just some assistant coach trying to answer a question and get out of the room. This is, to me, sounded like basic boilerplate material talking about my backup quarterback. I did not connect this to Brock Purdy.
Okay, but you thought that Sam Darnold could have won games for them, and do you think they're lying about Mac Jones? They were scouting him. It was between Trey Lance and Mac Jones.
No, they love Mac Jones.
They picked wrong because Lance never really got on the field.
You just heard it right there. We loved him coming into the draft. We love him now. Remember when Kyle Shanahan said that Sam Darnold could be the next Steve Young and he could resuscitate his career? And somebody here laughed at that line.
Yeah.
And then he threw 35 touchdowns last year. Something that
let's
Steve
see
Young,
what happens when he doesn't have Justin
all
Jefferson.
I'm just saying is you did not see 35 touchdowns and 14 wins coming, and neither did I, to be honest. That was a pretty successful season. So they do talk up their backup quarterbacks. I mean, the reality is I think they love Brock Purdy, but I'm telling you, they loved Jimmy G. They loved him. And then Shanahan fell out of love. Yeah. I do think they're going to pay Purdy, and I don't think this was a leverage play. I do think that Mac Jones will probably play because Purdy's injury prone. And maybe he is starting level in that offense.
I mean, starting level quarterback, what are we doing here? I mean, Mac Jones came in for Trevor Lawrence last year, went 2-5. You're starting. You're not doing anything, though, while you start.
Yeah, but put him in the Niners system and watch out.
Well, and I think that's why this is a little bit more than just talking up the backup, because I think that there's some offensive coaches, I think, that want to prove that they can win with anybody. And in some ways, I think Shanahan did that with Purdy. But now, what happened? You almost did it so well. Now you got to pay the dude. And now he's sitting here wondering, where's his $55 million a year and why is he not getting more than Tua? I don't say you created a monster because Purdy's handled this really well. He's still showing up. He's obviously not a pain in the butt. But you did create something, and now that something wants to get paid.
Yeah, and it does feel like, to me, just watching the language, that regardless of this quote right here, they seem to be interested in paying him. They're sending out messages, hey, we're working on this, we're working on this, we're working on this, where they're much more aggressive about this than they were last year with Brandon Ayuk. For some reason, the Niners seem to want to pay certain guys, and they're all in. Like they gave Christian McCaffrey extra money last year.
Kittle.
And there's some guys, Kittle, that was surprising to me. At his age, he became the highest paid tight end in the NFL. It feels like they want to pay Brock Purdy. I don't know. I'm not getting that sense that they're playing hardball. I think they don't think like you. Like you're cynical and you see every quote as some sort of Machiavellian. Maggie was reading this situation. Clay Kubiak, I don't know that he's thinking in terms of chess, not checkers.
Well, I mean, he's got no control over personnel issues. Yep. I think he just gives you a little window into the insight of what's going on in the building, which is he's been there long enough. He did know that they scouted him out of college. They loved Mac Jones out of college. And it's funny. It's like, there's these guys, like you've always said that there's an obsession with like Kirk Cousins. Like if they could have only gotten Kirk Cousins, like who's obsessed with Kirk Cousins? Not the Falcons anymore, that's for sure. So I think there's just an idea, hey, we can win with anybody. You're not above the program. And so it does call into question. I wonder how 49ers feel about this at 888-710-4ISN. Do you think they're right? Can they win with anyone?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious how Kirk Cousins does when they trade for him in Week 8 here, unless
he's too expensive.
Yeah, or there's a recently retired quarterback who feels like he would like that system too.
You think Rodgers holding out for San Francisco?
I was thinking of another recently.
I'm sorry, you said retired.
Yeah.
Oh,
Derek Carr was sure fitted nice in the Bay Area.
Oh,
ooh,
look at that.
He feels like a Kyle Shanahan kind of quarterback.
Is his shoulder falling apart?
He was in the Bay Area.
Yeah,
and
it's interesting.
terrible.
It's interesting how health works. Once you get out of New Orleans, it's interesting. That shoulder just gets a little looser for us old guys.
That's funny.
Kind of the opposite of what happened to Drew Brees.
Yeah, got better for him. Oh, all right. Well, Perloff just put it out there. Derek Carr retired over the weekend. Is it his fault that his career wasn't better? We'll get to that next. Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Got some news over the weekend. Derek Carr calling it a career. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. 9 years with the Raiders, 2 years with the Saints. He's the Raiders' all-time leading passer in terms of yards. And two things here. From the Derek Carr legacy part of it, is it his fault that his career wasn't better? You know, Carr was a second-round pick. He appeared in one playoff game, a loss to the Cincinnati Bengals the year that Joe Burrow and company went to the Super Bowl. He was injured when the Raiders made their other playoff appearance, which was in 2016.
Yeah, which was his best year. He was awesome.
Yep, 12-3 as a quarterback that year. He was really, really good that year, but he got hurt, never played in the playoffs. So then the next year, he was 6-9 as the starter the next year after that. And the Raiders certainly had their issues, but do you blame Carr? 2 winning seasons out of an 11-year career, 1 playoff game, 0 playoff wins. He did have 3 seasons with over 4,000 yards passing. Do you blame him for the fact that he could just never be better considering how much time he got as a starter, Pearl?
You mean better in the win-loss sense? Or do you mean better as productive?
I think better is mattering and people believing.
Yeah.
I think Raider fans do not love Derek Carr.
Get out of here, Raider fans. You have Mark Davis as owner. You had Mike Mayock as a GM and John Gruden as a coach. And you're blaming Derek Carr. That was the organization. Then he got to New Orleans after the party was over. So Dennis Allen was his coach, which kind of has a Raider feel to it. In New Orleans, no. I mean, look at what the Raiders have done since he left. This is a franchise thing, not a quarterback thing to me.
Listen, he did go through, I think, 6 head coaches, 3 GMs. I get that, but I also think that if you are a special quarterback, you have a way of even lifting bad organizations.
No.
I watch it with the one that I root for, Josh Allen. The Bills were in the desert for 20 years, Pearl. They hadn't made the playoffs in 17 years, and Tyrod Taylor technically broke that drought. But then he came and took it to a different spot.
He took over a 9-7 team 2 years before.
Okay, so Derek Carr went 3-13 his first year, 7-9, 12-3, and then what happened? You know, we just said, I just think that Carr was always thought of as a mediocre quarterback who was somewhere around 12-15 on any given year. I think he frustrated the hell out of Raider fans for a couple reasons. One, I'm not saying he's not tough, and far be it for me to say a guy's not tough because I'm watching from the couch. But there was a criticism that he was too quick to the checkdowns, that he wouldn't hang in the pocket. It's not like he had terrible receivers his whole career. He did get to team up with Devontae Adams, guys, late in the career. We were so interested in this, and it led to absolutely nothing. Okay, that was cool on paper, and nothing happened. It was like a movie sequel that, ended up being just nowhere close to the original that they had in college. What's that?
Caddyshack 2.
Well, agree to disagree on that fine film. But he wasn't known to be a good cold weather quarterback either when he had to go on the road and other AFC places. I just think that Carr just couldn't, for being a second-round pick and the guy's made over $200 million, good for him. He can retire. And
it's definitely one of the best second-round picks of all time. I mean, there's name. You can't, on 2 hands, you can't name other second-round quarterbacks.
Well, he got 169 starts, though. That, I know that, the Raiders' defense wasn't always up to snuff. But in fact, rarely up to snuff. You're right about the owner being bad and the GMs being a revolving door and the coaches being a revolving door. But he got a lot of time. He got a lot of chances. And his quarterback record is 77-92. Now, granted, he is the Raiders' all-time leading passer, but I don't think he's anywhere close to any Raider fan being their all-time favorite player.
But one thing I disagree with, you said he's mediocre. I mean, dude could throw a football. There's no doubt about it. He had When Derek Carr got hot, oh my God, it was like boom, 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 boom.
Sure.
Making a little throwing motion with my hand. So I just think the guy was stuck on bad teams. I do disagree with you on one thing. If Patrick Mahomes had been drafted, what year was it? 2014. I know Mahomes came out in 17. I don't think he would have had this success with the Raiders. I don't think he would Super Bowl. Like, you need to go to the right place.
You think Mahomes, because Mahomes came in the division, you mean?
No, I'm saying Mahomes, if Mahomes had been drafted by the Raiders in 2014, he would not have led the Raiders to 2 Super Bowls. I just think obviously the marriage of the coach and the quarterback and the roster is huge. And Derek Carr just always landed in the wrong place. And we knew, honestly, we knew New Orleans was on the downside by the time he got there. I think he would have actually been better with the Jets than Aaron Rodgers was. I think he's a talented quarterback on bad teams. Maybe not the greatest leader. I get that, but I think his career was just fine. Like, for him, like, he was not. Nobody thought Derek Carr was going to come in and raise a team. He was a second round pick. I think for the Raiders, the only problem was he was too good. They couldn't move off of him because he was too talented. So yeah, it was a mess. But you think Patrick Mahomes was going to lead Mike Mayock and John Gruden to the promised land? They threw away first round pick after first round pick for 10 years.
Bad drafts, I'll give you that. But they also had Reggie McKenzie for a while. He wasn't known to be a really bad drafter. Now they had some bad guys. I mean, Ruggs is sitting in a jail cell right now, and that's not in no way Derek Carr's fault. Of course, I'll grant you that. It's never all or nothing. I just think that Derek Carr's career as a Raider, let's call it just the 9 years with the Raiders, I think is just going to be extremely forgettable. He never really got a send-off because they basically benched him the last 2 games in Vegas because they didn't want him to get hurt, and then this big bonus money would have kicked in. So he never really got a send-off. I believe the last game in Oakland, he was booed off the field. So, whether he puts his head on the pillow at night and thinks, wow, I had a great NFL career, I don't think Raider fans have this great love for him. Now, maybe time heals that, but I just don't think that I just think it's a largely forgettable era of Raider football.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they haven't won a playoff game since the Super Bowl year.
I know,
right?
but this is a guy who's made over $200 million. Like, it's also crazy to me that his grandkids are going to be rich, and they're going to be like, well, why? How'd you guys get all this money? It's like, well, my great-great-great-grandfather was Derek Carr. I mean, good for them. Let's go to the
Derek
phone.
Carr is better at his worst game is better than anything anyone in this building has done at any given time. You're making it sound like the dude is garbage.
Comparing him to his peers, Pearl.
Yeah, I mean, he's as talented as a lot of his peers. He was just on an awful, awful team for years.
Did he make them better?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, in his second or third year, they were 12-3. They were when he was. I know he played all these games, but he was banged up a lot. Yeah, I mean, Derek Carr was. I understand what you're saying. Like, he was disappointing win-loss, but he definitely wasn't hot garbage. The guy could play quarterback.
I think he was wildly frustrating to Raider fans. I don't think you ever felt like you were going into a game and you had the advantage at quarterback. Like, wow, we've got our secret weapon here.
Look at his stats, though.
Well, look deeper into them. And if they don't translate into a lot of winning, what does it matter?
Well, because the other option is with the quarterbacks that are not him or what? I assume they win 2 out of every 10 games. And now I know they brought in Geno and paid a lot for him, and maybe he'll be better. But this is not a franchise that has figured it out since Derek Carr left.
But I'm just asking you, who else got this much time? Like, I know what you're saying. He was kind of too good to give up on, but not good enough to get you where you needed to go. But to get 9 years with a franchise, like, that's a lot. I'm trying to think of another guy who got that many years who produced 2 winning seasons. You just don't get
I guess
a lot.
Matt Stafford probably in the Lions, right? Like, he was there for a long time and not a lot of winning seasons.
I don't think people blamed him.
Yeah, sure
much.
they did.
Well,
everyone until he got to L.A., everyone except me came after Stafford.
And it was a little different first overall pick.
He's playing with Megatron too.
So Carr, by the way, just a little positive, did make 4 Pro Bowls, has outstanding passer rating. Again, a hot Derek Carr was a thing to behold. The guy could really, really throw the ball. Now, again, it seems like there were some leadership issues, but how do you know what's the situation? Because, by the way, the Raiders definitely broken. No doubt about that. I think this current Saints team is broken, too. It didn't work there. It feels like I don't know if it's team building. Something's off here. Like the injury, the entire reporting around him leaving the Saints points to not only is something going on between him and the team, something's going on with that team. So he's been at two kind of messed up franchises.
Yeah, fair. Totally fair. I don't know if I'd call out his leadership because I feel like he had to stand up there and answer a lot of questions that someone else in the organization probably should have been answering. Like, he did not have to be the first one out there to be answering questions about Henry Ruggs. That should not have been his role. He got put in a tough situation there. They ended up going to the playoffs, obviously, and losing, but tough situation. He's the first guy out there when Gruden got fired, or I think technically Gruden resigned. He should not have been the first guy out there for that. You're going to answer this delicate question about a guy's emails, that were racist and homophobic. First guy out there when other guys were getting fired. So I don't know how he resonated in the building. We have no clue. But he was out there as the face of the franchise in some really hard times.
Yeah, franchise that's really struggling. So I put on them. By the way, who's the next Derek Carr? I mean, Cousins, you mentioned Kirk Cousins. It feels like
already
a lot
won more
of money.
Playoff games than him.
Yeah, but did he? How many has Kirk won?
Well, he's won one.
There you
go. Are you fond of that?
But Jerry, high pick. I'm kind of curious about a certain guy in L.A. right now. Will his path go that way?
Justin Herbert?
Is Justin Herbert going to be getting millions and millions of dollars and never win anything in the playoffs? He's a little more consistent. At least he's been to the playoffs a lot.
I feel like people think he's better than Derek Carr, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because
the arm talent. He's got a better coach.
Justin Herbert was, number 6 overall pick, had 38 touchdowns in a season. He is better, but he could be one of these guys who makes $250 million with nothing to show for it. Very possible.
Very possible. And you know what's funny about Derek Carr, and I know it's a little different because this guy was the number 1 pick. I think it's unfortunate he didn't find his Tampa like Baker Mayfield did.
Yeah, or his L.A.
Yeah, I mean, again, I compare him to Baker only 'cause I think talent-wise they're probably a little more closer. Again, Stafford's like an S-tier type arm. Like, he's crazy, right? But, I think if he could have maybe found an organization a little more, reliable, a little more cutting edge.
Up.
Yeah, not having Mickey Loomis, who's been running the team for 30 years, still running the team. Like, maybe he could have found that second home. Like, Baker found that second home in Tampa, and now we think of him a little differently.
Yeah, but think about it. Yeah. Carr was out there 2 years ago. You didn't have to trade for him.
True.
He got cut. Anyone could have had him, and it was New Orleans because of the relationship with Dennis Allen.
Right. He had Dennis Allen as a coach who is not a good coach. I'd argue the worst coach of his era.
But nobody else wanted Carr.
Well, the other thing, too, is he's 34. We'll see. We'll see is all I'm going to say. Let's get him into that Shanahan system in 2 years when his shoulders feels better. I'm not positive it's done. I mean, Cam Newton came back at 35. I just say 34 is awfully young to write this guy off for good. I know he did send out the retirement text, but his shoulder heals on its own. In 3 years, he's feeling a little anxious.
3 years.
He'll be 37. That's 3 years younger than Joe Flacco.
Somebody will definitely call him. That's a fact. We know the NFL.
God.
We've heard Ben Roethlisberger.
Flacco is going to start in Cleveland this year, probably.
Joe Flacco?
Flacco?
JT's in Atlanta.
Flacco?
JT, is it Carr's fault or the Raiders' fault he didn't have a better career?
It's definitely the Raiders' fault. If David Carr, if he played in New York, he played for the Giants, he'd be Eli Manning or better. They have the same amount of Pro Bowls. They have the same amount of All-Pros. He just didn't have that great defense like Eli did, or the consistency and wide receiver like Eli always had. So yeah, it's definitely the Raiders' fault. If he, like I said, I don't agree with Perloff a lot, but he's right. When he was on, he could throw that thing, and I mean, and that one season was just a glimpse of it. But the Raiders are just a dumpster fire. There's no way that who succeeds there. Name anybody who. I think the last good quarterback they had was Gannon that succeeded there, or Plunkett. I mean, what are we talking about? They don't really take care of or have it, taking care of their quarterbacks to the extent that you can blame it on him. I mean, you have to blame the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't think Raider fans see it that way. Now, I think Raider fans know their organization is not a great one. You got Tom Brady in the building now. Maybe we'll see and Pete Carroll, see if anything changes. But I think Raider fans really saw Derek Carr up close and personal and saw a lot of times where, if you said drive for your life, how many other quarterbacks would you name before Derek Carr?
That's a different story. Okay, so when you put it that way, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to him because we never saw it. But then again, I think the reason why you never saw it, I'm going to argue like Perloff right now, is because of the Raiders.
Sure.
It's the reason why you never got a chance to see it is because the Raiders never gave him a chance to be in that situation where you could see where he was a clutch player or not.
Yeah. Yeah, JT, I get it. The one thing with Carr, and thank you for the phone call, that I can't get over is, and I know Josh McDaniels was there, but like Devontae Adams definitely left Aaron Rodgers to go play with Carr, right? And got traded to the Raiders, and we thought it was going to be exciting. Remember, we had David Carr on from NFL Network. Yeah. We were on in the afternoon, and he told us if we knew the type of lofty goals that his brother and Devontae Adams had set for that season, he said it would blow our minds, right? They were looking to break records in terms of, touchdown passes, completions, all that stuff. They had they were setting up for this huge season, and it completely fell flat.
Yeah, I mean, again, Devontae's fallen flat other places too since then. He's getting a little old. By the way, fourth quarter comeback.
Rams this year.
Derek Carr, 14th all-time in NFL history in fourth quarter comebacks. I don't remember him as a bad fourth quarter quarterback. You said drive for your life. I think he was okay late in games.
The Jets helped him out one time.
Yeah, he got a gift of zero coverage when the Jets were outright tanking.
I think Carr was not a non-clutch quarterback per se. He was ahead of Brett Favre and ahead of Eli Manning, below Phillip Rivers. But generally, no, I don't think of it. I generally think that it was organizational dysfunction that kind of gutted him there.
I almost would remix the question where I'm not even sure if for him is drive for your life. I think it's more game for your life. Game for your life. Do you trust that guy's going to play 4 quarters, stay upright, and not melt? Like, I think
that Cincinnati playoff game, he had it.
Right. One drive, I've seen him do that. The regular season here and there. But in terms of like games, like there have been times where we talk about the Raiders and how bad they've been. A lot of those seasons, they're like 7-9. Like they were in kind of the mix of being decent, and it felt like there were games where he didn't show up. And that's where I think when my mom's a Raider fan, so I feel like that's the thing with Carr. It's like, yeah, he's okay, but like he can never get us over the hump. Why is that?
Do you remember that game in Cincinnati? He had the final drive.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was true. No question.
I mean, they shouldn't have even been there in that playoff. that team stunk.
Rich Bisaccia.
They
and by the way, he just
Bisaccia.
kicked Herbert's butt the week before. That Raiders team had no right to be in that postseason.
Well, we thought that the Raiders and the Chargers were going to tie, and they were both going to make the postseason, but then the Raiders went for the kill. Anyway, and they go on the road, and they play Cincinnati, and Carr, that was before, like, we knew Cincinnati was going to go to the Super Bowl that year. I don't know. I mean, that still was so out of nowhere, and
that was
he had the ball in the final seconds.
The Cincinnati team was not that great.
That was to get that team to the playoffs. I think we should be giving Derek Carr some Hall of Fame consideration. I don't see that as like he blew that season. I was shocked when they beat the Chargers to get there in the first place. Go ahead.
George is in L.A. George, what do you think?
Well, the way I look at it, you guys, there's only a few teams in the NFL that has the organization and the coaches, McVay, Shanahan, to reshape quarterbacks. McVay reshaped Baker Mayfield, for God's sake. He's got him the job in Tampa Bay, basically. And Shanahan, I think, can reshape Matt Jones. I think they can reshape a lot of quarterbacks. But the problem is there's only a few clutch super quarterbacks ever, and every year there's just a few of them left. Josh Allen, Mahomes, even Stafford in the Rams. He's getting older, but he still has that arm. But it's the organization and the coach more than anything else you think about in today's NFL, just the way it is nowadays.
I know. George, you're right. So much has to go right. I'm sorry.
System QB, baby. Let's talk system quarterbacks. George is speaking my language. Of course, it's the offense and the coach to a large degree. It's not just the quarterback. We will look at the quarterbacks that were drafted in this year. Let's face it, all these situations are not the same. Poor Tyler Shuck is getting in there in New Orleans to replace Derek Carr. Who's he throwing to? So I think it makes a big deal where you land. Tom Brady would not be Tom Brady if he didn't go to New England. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I think the question now is, are the Saints careening towards the number 1 overall pick next year? Now, they got to really hope if they do get that number 1 pick, that Arch Manning decides he will leave Texas, because that would be such a cool story. And we don't know how Arch is going to play this year.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Have the local guy who grew up in New Orleans and is a star there in high school and famous family and all of that to go and resurrect the Saints franchise, I mean, that would be unreal.
You did.
What a story.
We've barely seen Arch. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. The other thing, too, we can argue about this. They have a lot working against them on getting that number 1 pick. They have the second easiest schedule in the NFL, and they got a lot of old guys on that team. A lot of old guys.
How
old
many are
guys
going to be
don't
on the team past the trade deadline?
They don't let go of old guys. The old guys stay there forever and ever and ever. Jordon and Alvin Kamara, they're going to be there until 10 years from now.
Yeah, but wait till they have the number 1 pick in their sights.
This is the Saints. Have they ever done that?
They'd be smart to. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. All right, asking that question about Derek Carr. I'd love to know from the Raider fans. You guys sat there and watched him all those years. Is it his fault he wasn't better? Not better. Had a better career, put it that way. More success.
4 Pro Bowls.
And 0 playoff wins.
That's about what you'd expect for a Raiders quarterback right now. By the way, you love Geno, right? Or no, I don't know if you love Geno. You love Tom Brady running the team.
I love Tom Brady running
the team. How many playoff wins do you think Geno Smith's going to get there? And Pete Carroll is a Hall of Fame level coach.
I can see him winning a playoff game. They got to get there first. Get to the playoffs first. I can see them win a playoff game.
It's going to be tough.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, you're welcome to weigh in on Carr. The Saints fans, how you feeling about that? Raider fans, how do you feel about Carr? Anything? This news hit you in any kind of way? There was a lot of reporting over the weekend about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. Coming up next, I will have the top 5 most interesting tidbits that came out this weekend as Bill was sitting front row 2 days in a row at the Miss Maine competition at the Holiday Inn in Portland. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
Day by day.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. It is still early. I may be expecting an apology to Derek Carr. Jeez Louise.
What?
You can let him have it there.
Guy doesn't want a playoff game. I didn't let him have it. The
I don't
AFC
know.
West let him have it.
Yeah, you're like, he's no Josh Allen. I mean, come on. What's
You said
the
he's
bar
no Patrick
here?
Mahomes. Listen, he had a starter's job for 11 years. 11
Yes.
years. Who else gets that kind of runway when they've never won anything?
Who replaced him and how did they do? You wanted the Aiden O'Connell experience?
Well,
You want Gardner Minshew? It was the Raiders and then the Saints. Forget it. They're a mess. But you promised some Bill Belichick news.
Yeah.
We're going to do this here because I know how you are.
Yeah.
When you get a story like this, it's not letting go. I feel like you've just been waiting here patiently. What is the latest for anyone who hasn't been following it? What's the latest on Bill Belichick?
Well, I've got all the details for you because don't bother. You don't have to listen to the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast. I've got the top 5 moments that you need to know about all of the Bill Belichick reporting. Pablo did a great job. Amazing. I was entertained on this from minute 1 to minute 57. I've actually listened to the podcast twice.
Please
Hey,
get some
folks.
help.
Listen, yes, guys.
2 hours out of your life just listening about Bill Belichick and his 24-year-old girlfriend?
It's called dedication to the craft, guys.
2, it's called journalism.
As her son sits in the corner, dirty and hungry.
On Mother's Day.
Who? Oh, my kid.
Mother's Day weekend.
He's fine, I think.
Uncle
Guys.
Pablo's talking.
I've got the top 5 most interesting tidbits. Now, this was a podcast that got a little gossipy, but Pablo is really buttoned up as a reporter, and he claims that he has 11 or 12 different sources all talk to him on all different walks of life from Bill Belichick. There's no chance that Pablo's making this up. We worked with him for many years at Sports Illustrated. His reputation is sterling. It's good reporting, guys. I would trust it.
Move over Woodward and Bernstein.
Pablo did the work here, man, and I'm here.
It's an idiotic topic to do all this good reporting. Can we just get that out there?
Not true. It's maybe the best NFL coach of all time, and this is absolutely newsworthy in every single way.
Wait, I can't tell if you're serious right now.
I'm as serious as a heart attack.
Newsworthy and okay. But anyway, get to the 5 things.
All right, Manny, let's hit the drum roll.
In every single way, it's newsworthy.
In every single way, it's newsworthy. This is the top 5 most interesting things from the Pablo Torre podcast about Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, Jordon Hudson. I did the work, so you don't have to. Number 5 on this list. It's possible, and many are theorizing, that Jordon Hudson is interrupted the CBS Sunday Morning interview and did not want to answer extended questions about how the two of them met, because there's a reality show in the works. So just stay tuned. Fall 2026. the Jordan Belichick love story.
2026?
Well, I don't know how long it takes to do this.
I'm just curious. She wanted to do it with Hard Knocks, right? Was that going to be the reality show, or is this a different one?
Different reality show because she is technically running Bill's burgeoning media empire.
Right.
The Hard Knocks thing, that was not in this podcast. That had already come out, that she basically sabotaged the Hard Knocks deal between NFL Films and North Carolina because she wanted too much editorial control.
Right. Was that going to be the show you're talking about?
No,
Was
this
she
is a totally different show.
So
Just
she
about
was
her
gonna,
and Bill.
She was going to hold back on Hard Knocks and save it for her own show. Because she might have given all that to Hard Knocks.
Maybe, but it looks like she wanted a lot of editorial control, and I think this is more for Bill's media empire, not for NFL Films media empire.
Okay.
So that's number 5. Number 4 on the most interesting things from the Pablo Torre podcast about Belichick. The two of them were at NFL Films, which is in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, which is where Bill was doing almost all of his media from last year because he trusts the people at NFL Films. He has a great relationship with them going back decades. While they're there to, I think, shoot a podcast or one of the things that Bill was doing last year when he was on his big media, whatever, both of them caught on hot mics talking major junk about everyone at NFL Films. Now, this was caught by, they said, over a dozen people were in the control room. She's supposed to be the publicist, okay? She's supposed to be the media savvy person in the relationship. Doesn't realize that the mic's still hot. Luckily, not a Leslie Nielsen type of thing where Belichick goes to the bathroom and is taking a whiz.
Done that many times.
Instead,
many times.
I'll do it today.
Instead,
I'm not wearing that kind of mic, but I have done this.
Hot mic talking badly about people who are literally working on the show that he was doing at the time. That is beyond bad form and embarrassing. Number 3. A quote from Pablo Torre from one of the sources that he spoke to who had direct knowledge of working with Jordan Hudson and Bill Belichick. Quote, "She's the worst person I've ever met on earth, and I've worked with multiple sociopaths." Oh. That's just number 3 on the list, guys.
I don't love that being out there, but go ahead.
It's a rough quote.
A little over. Yeah, I know, but it's still it's a bit of hearsay.
No, this is someone who worked directly with her.
I'm just saying, but I think it still qualifies as hearsay. Like somebody hates her guts and Pablo's using that quote. I don't know. It's a little mean.
It's definitely mean. It's definitely newsworthy.
Yeah, I mean, all 5 of us, we could find somebody to say that quote about any of us. If people hate other people, just to put that out there feels a little mean, but go ahead.
I mean, Bogus is sitting right here. I don't know why you'd do that. Guy was sick all last week.
I felt it.
Okay. The second most interesting thing from the Pablo Torre podcast about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson is that she did not just work her way into the Dunkin' Donuts commercial that was shown in the Super Bowl. There was actually another commercial that Bill Belichick shot that, according to Pablo and his reporting, she walked on set, started immediately lobbying for herself to get a role in this commercial, which was a 7-figure commercial that Belichick was getting paid for. And she starts pitching herself that this was going to be the hard launch of their relationship that was going to be in this commercial. And to further sell herself for this role, she said, "Excuse me for a second," went away, came back wearing a yellow polka dot bikini. They had already wrapped shooting for the day. So according to Pablo Torre's sources, they shot an extra scene with her in it to placate her. No one's sure if they actually turned the camera on.
Oof. That's not good.
No. That's bad. That's really bad.
Somehow that's not the number one thing.
That is not the number one thing. That's like a pat on the head. Like, all right, yeah, Jordan, go. Shoot, we're filming. You look great.
So here, Jerry Jones, his headset's on.
Yeah, you can talk right to the coach in this one. And the number one most interesting thing from the Pablo Torre podcast about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson is the fact that it's possible, because of some documents where she wrote her birthday down, it's possible that when they met, she was 19.
So wait, is he reporting she was 19?
So there is a document that was the directory for wives of people and girlfriends of people in the North Carolina football program, where she put her birthday down as the year 2000, but she was actually born in 2001.
Ew!
So
wait, that's what I was kind of curious. Like, she was 19 or not?
So if her birthday is April of 2001 and he signed her textbook in February of 2021 and she claimed that she was, let's see, how did they do this? She was 22 years old in 2024, I think. They do the math for you. It looks like she was 19 when they met.
Which is not a problem.
It's legal.
Right.
But when you have to ask, is this legal or not, that's a problem. He was 69 and she was 19.
Oh, he was still under 70. Gonna give him that.
Yay. Because 51 years would have been too much.
But he's right.
He's born in
safe.
April and they met in February. So he was pushing 70.
Jeez.
And she was pushing 20.
And she was pushing 20.
Couldn't even get a drink.
Couldn't even get a drink on
Where
that
do you take her, man?
On that airplane.
You take her to Dunkin' Donuts for? Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess so. You
Yeah,
show up in
yeah.
a yellow polka dot bikini, I guess.
Him and Affleck.
Yeah, maybe Affleck and
By the way,
Damon are there.
75 and 20. How old is he?
He's 73 now.
73 and
Infinity.
24 is still gross, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, here's if you ever have to ask yourself, is it legal in this state? You shouldn't be asking that.
Yeah, but also
when you're 70.
I would also say that if you're asking at 19, you're asking the wrong question because 19 is never not allowed, right? Like 18 and under is when you have to ask the question.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
So I mean, again, that to me is inconsequential to the nastiness of all of this.
Well, but it's like it's one thing that it's the law, but then there's like the code of the road, like the unwritten rules.
Because 20 is better than 19.
I mean, once you're doing
when you're 69,
once teenagers get involved, it's a little.
Yeah, 19. I kind of see the distinction. 19
It sounds bad.
Sounds even grosser than gross. Yeah.
I had a friend who was 21 who was dating someone 19 and we gave him crap.
I said if Manny was dating someone 19, we would give him crap.
Yeah, just because they were a teenager. Only 2-year difference.
Yeah.
That feels a little mean.
I mean,
yeah, well, you're college friends. Of course, we're being mean to them.
but that's like a college junior dating a freshman, right? That's not a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah, that's way too harsh.
No, but it was just a joke because it was the fact that she was 19.
A teenager, right.
And he
Needed
was
a fake
gonna
ID,
be
all that
22.
Was he 72 years old?
He was not.
So is your dad's
Sorry, you said
friend?
that, yeah.
No, I'm not friends with Bill Belichick.
Your dad's much older friend than your dad, even. Let's get to Bogusch.
Wait,
So that's my top 5 things.
Are you going to do the follow-up how they spent this past weekend, the two of them?
Oh, yeah, sorry. They were at the Holiday Inn in Portland, Maine, which is
As glorious as it sounds.
which is the site of the Miss Maine competition. Jordan was competing for the 2nd year in a row, and she came in 3rd.
Oh, I thought you came in 2nd. Either way, is there?
She came in 2nd last year.
Second runner-up.
Imagine the sadness of he's sitting next to her dad.
Was her dad there?
Yeah.
I only saw he was there in the
I was
front
wondering
row.
how old is her dad? I saw that headline. 50?
I mean, younger than Belichick, and they're sitting there, technically side by side in the Portland, Maine Holiday Inn on Mother's Day, watching her lose the Miss Maine pageant.
On to Cincinnati.
I mean, come on.
I think she had no chance to win that thing.
On to New Hampshire.
You know what's so funny about all this?
Starting the season 0-1, really, for Belichick. That's how I look at it.
Look, we got Vermont in about 2 weeks, so that's what I'm really worried about.
Again, I'm looking at the pictures of the Holiday Inn. Belichick looks darn happy. I got to tell you, guys. I think that he might not care about all this.
So we've asked you a question. Is it Derek Carr's fault that his career wasn't more successful?
Mm-hmm.
If you're Jordan Hudson's dad, are you taking any culpability here? That now your daughter's got a trend? That she was dating some other 60-year-old guy and now Belichick at 73?
Was she, by the way, so that was her ex. How old was she when she was dating that guy?
That's a great
look at Perloff
That's the
asking the
follow-up.
questions.
You know, Pablo's
huge
Studios,
journalism.
right up the block. Take a walk at 10 a.m. and go, guys, I got a new story for you.
Yeah, they just moved, huh?
We have Pablo's number. we
That
know
too.
him. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, bro.
No, it's not. This whole thing is ridiculous.
Hey, look,
Pablo should put his energy into something more important.
You're not wrong, but it's
Disagree.
also a great question, though.
Disagree. I think this is exactly where
And by the way,
Pablo's energy should
Belichick
be.
does not care. He's dating a 24-year-old. He looks
Or
thrilled.
23.
He looks thrilled in these photos.
She might be 19. Who knows?
Yeah.
all we know is that we have Rhode Island in about a month, and we're on. We're
He's
attacking
working
New
the
England.
pageant circuit now. She thinks it may have cost her the crown.
Yep.
I think that's excuses. And to be honest, I think Belichick would not like those kind of excuses. The coach, I don't know what the boyfriend's doing.
Shows you, Bill Belichick's different. I keep trying to tell you guys. There is no more on Cincinnati. It's it's all this crap.
He on to Cincinnati CBS Morning News like 5 times.
He didn't get to do it. Jordon kept interrupting him.
No, he had some answers that were, and by the way, on to Cincinnati was typical. He on to Cincinnati them multiple times. I saw chunks of the interview. He just stared at the person for about 8 seconds one time.
Well, that I'd expect.
Well, is it because maybe he's perhaps losing it?
No, he never had it.
Ah, okay.
No, that's the Belichick intimidation. But, being front row at the Holiday Inn for the Miss Maine competition, does it take a little of the shine off? I guess here's the question.
Not from those Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, can Belichick ever do anything on the field again that's going to make us forget this tawdry, salacious kind of tabloid spin?
Nah.
Nothing.
I'm looking at a picture of Bill Belichick. I've never seen the man smile bigger in my life. Like, this dude this is the happiest he's ever been.
I mean, he's looking at models on a runway. I'd
What
be
does he
smiling
care?
Ear to ear, too.
Yeah.
We could all be his granddaughter.
Trust me, he's going to be watching this film. I can tell you that much.
Just the swimsuit competition.
Yeah. He's like, I want to zero in on this part of the competition.
Yeah, that's true.
Now we turned him into like a creep.
Belichick, by the way.
We didn't do anything, Maggie. Let me be clear.
What did I do?
We didn't do anything.
We have a bigger argument. I'm so sorry, Bogues. We're cutting off your update here. But I don't think Bill Belichick had access to date 24-year-olds. The guy has been in a tape room for the last 50 years. I think
disagree.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We do not see this the same.
I know. NFL offseason is so long. They do so much.
He's on Nantucket
they do
all
so much
offseason.
nonsense.
Right, with his girlfriend or wife. You think that he was on Nantucket playing the field? He was never single.
Well, we saw him, the ring camera footage caught him leaving the house in the morning. He was doing just fine, apparently.
Yeah.
Well,
he
had
if
a
you
longtime
wanted-
girlfriend, Linda.
Yeah.
If we don't think Dan Campbell is crashing film, why would we think Bill Belichick running around shirtless on Nantucket is crashing
With
film
Jordan Hudson?
Right. That's my point, though. Why wouldn't he be doing that with other women? You think he didn't have any other women before this woman?
Yeah.
Of course he did. He probably had women when he was with the other girl.
No,
the other woman, sorry.
he met Jordan Hudson while he was still with Linda.
Right. And I keep saying this. Bill Belichick's he's a wild boy. We know this already. We've known this for like 20 years.
The internet knows this. Just Google it.
Well, it's just funny because...
Well, I'm just saying a lot of this was rumored to be internal. Like, he was not outside the building a lot. That's what the rumors are on him. He wasn't out in the bars. That is
right.
100% true.
I don't think someone ever has to be.
But I also think the other part is, like, when you say he's a wild guy, it's like, yeah, like concocting special teams, like coverages, not this. Anyway.
Exotic blitzes.
There were your top 5 moments. I brought them to you. If you missed them, you can hit the rewind function on the Odyssey app. The top 5 most interesting Belichick, Jordan Hudson tidbits. Bogush, hang tight. We're going to get to all the latest headlines. A very, very busy weekend.
Nothing is more important than what we just did.
Not just the Miss Maine competition.
She lost.
She may have gotten hosed. I don't know. These judge competitions, you can just never be sure. 888-710-4ISN. We got Bogush's headlines and also an update on Steph Curry next.
Boom, 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 boom.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie Perloff Show. Andrew Bogusch is here with headlines for us. We never got to him last segment because we were too busy breaking down all the juicy tidbits in the Pablo Torre podcast about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. If you are wondering, she did compete in the Miss Maine competition this weekend. Belichick was there both days. She came in third. Bogusch, what else happened?
Well, full NFL schedules come out Wednesday night. In the meantime, singular game announcements over the next 2 days. The Super Bowl champion Eagles will host the Cowboys on the opening Thursday night. That is September 4th. It is not the best time for a slump, but Nikola Jokic is slumping. He did score 27 points yesterday afternoon, but on 7 of 22 shooting. That makes 3 straight games with a sub-40 shooting percentage, the first time Jokic has ever done that, playoffs or regular season.
It's a little bit of everything, they're shrinking the ball, they're shrinking the floor for me, they're having guy behind the defender, so it's a little bit of everything, so I need to do a better job, of course, but it's part of the game.
The sound system doing a good job as well.
Wait, I wonder why are they shrinking the floor? Why are there defenders coming up on them? It's almost as if there are 5 guys who aren't covering everybody. That's Russell Westbrook's man who is shrinking the floor on him. I just want to point that out to all you Russ defenders.
Now, in Jokic's defense, no Nugget or Thunder was good offensively yesterday, with Game 4 coming less than 48 hours after Game 3 went to overtime. OKC pulling out a 92-87 win, level the series at 2. Only Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored more than 11 for the Thunder, finishing with 25. Denver, meanwhile, shot 31% from the floor, including 11 for 45 from 3. Scoring not an issue for the Pacers in Game 4 with the Cavs. They led 80-39 at the break, cruising to a 129-109 win and a 3-1 series lead. But that means little to head coach Rick Carlisle.
We haven't done anything yet. We're a pretty significant underdog in every game we've played in this series, and that will continue till the end. And we're going to keep approaching this like we have everything to prove.
The Cavs have a big question to answer before Game 5. Donovan Mitchell did not play after halftime because of a left ankle issue. He's getting an MRI today. Quick NHL playoff scores. The Jets taking a 5-2 loss in Dallas, so the Stars lead that series 2-1. Panthers-Leafs is 2-2 after Florida's 2-0 home win last night. And with all due respect to Mike Tirico and journalistic integrity, Sunday Night Baseball stunk.
The 2-1 swung on, hit deep, center field. Martinez back at the wall, out of room, it's gone, and Schwarber has gone deep again. A 2-run home run here in the 8th inning. His 14th of the season.
Whatever. Scott Fransky, Phillies radio, Kyle Schwarber, those 2 homers, all the offense in the Phillies' 3-0 win over the Guardians. They go 5-1 on this road trip. Those 14 homers, by the way, tie Schwarber with Aaron Judge for the big league lead.
And I got him in our Maggie Perloff Show home run derby. I was so excited last night.
He's having a great season.
He is. Yeah. We need to have a little update on the standings now that we're into May.
I'd really rather not.
Manny.
Manny, you were okay.
So I don't think I've seen Matt Olson once on SportsCenter this season.
Yeah, you did last week when he broke a dude's arm with an inside the park home run. Oh, you weren't here that day. You missed it.
You missed it.
Can we get a thought? I had not seen the story about the Eagles are going to open up with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, when did that break?
6 minutes ago.
What do you think about this, Eagle fan?
Right
I'm very surprised. It's exciting, but I'm surprised that the NFL would waste that Cowboys game because they don't like to put their best option on the front. I mean, listen, it's better than going to Brazil like the Eagles did last year. This seems like a pretty good homecoming to whoop the Cowboys in front of the home crowd. Get Sylvester Stallone to ring the bell or whatever they do. This could be really exciting.
Well, Cowboys, though, could be good in the first part of the year if people are healthy.
Right,
like
before Dak gets hurt.
Right. You want to catch the Cowboys maybe later in the season, I would think. But the other part is, you're right, they're not going to Brazil. It looks like it's Chiefs-Chargers are going to Brazil.
Yeah.
Which I was a little surprised because but then it does make a little more sense. If you're the Chargers, they're the designated home team. Kansas City fans would invade your stadium. So I guess you're like, you know what? Screw you. We're going to go to Brazil. You're going to have to go all the way down there if you want to watch your beloved Chiefs.
That explains it because the Chargers could have fought their way out of that game but chose not to, I read. Pro Football Talk.
You'll have to protect two
home games.
Yeah.
Well, that explains why they didn't want the Chiefs fans invading. By the way, these early season Cowboys, last year with everybody healthy, they lost 44-19 to the New Orleans Saints.
Well, Michael Parsons wasn't healthy in that game, right?
No, he started.
Yeah.
Was he in that
week
game?
1, yeah. The whole team was there.
Oh, man.
No, that was week 2. Week 2.
Oh,
week 1, they
sorry.
beat Cleveland. Week 2,
Tom Brady's
Week 2,
debut.
they had their whole team, and they got blown, doors blown off them by New Orleans.
But they beat the Browns week 1?
Yeah, they beat the Browns
I'm saying
week
this is
1.
week 1.
We thought Clint Kubiak was the next Bill Walsh after that game.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I am not, there's no reason to say, I think the Eagles are probably 7-point favorites in that game. 8-point favorites?
Really? Against the Cowboys? Week 1?
At home, yeah, sure.
Wow, a whole
They're
touchdown.
defending champions. The Cowboys were, 5-13? Or, no, they were, 7-10 last year.
What do you think, EJ? 5.5, 4.5?
I'm thinking more less than 6.
It's a division game. I don't know. I think people are high on the Eagles right now. At home, all that energy. You'll get Meek Mill, Kevin Hart will be there. It's going to be
Joel Embiid will be there. Mike Trout.
Mike Trout will definitely
Bryce
be
Harper.
All the luminaries.
Question is, will the Pope be there?
I would hope Kyle Schwarber will still be playing September 6th somewhere.
I hope Mike Trout is too.
I thought the Pope's a Bears fan.
Oh, he's from went to Villanova, so that's why.
He went to Villanova, yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's
Is he a Bears fan? I thought he was a White Sox fan. I didn't know anything about any other team.
I mean, I'm assuming if you're white, you grew up in Chicago and you're a White Sox, clearly you're a sports fan.
If you're like in the White
Sox,
Sox,
Bears?
Yeah. He might have turned away from them.
He watches the Knicks.
Yeah.
Because of the Nova Knicks. I know that's a fact. So maybe he's willing to change allegiances.
He might have been frustrated after Jay Cutler.
All the prayers in the world weren't going to save that guy.
I prayed for his knee. He wouldn't get back in the game.
I prayed for Rex Grossman in the Super Bowl.
888-710-4ISN. Bogusch, thank you so much. Coming up, got an update on Steph Curry and Shedeur Sanders.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Pounding, it's game day, the crowd's on fire. Maggie and Perloff, the legends we admire. Stats and insights, they bring the heat. Hot takes that sing to every heartbeat. They love the Bills and Eagles, the pride in their eyes. Cheering for their teams, reaching for the skies. Every touchdown, every tackle, they're in the zone.
In the world of sports talk, under digital skies, lives a fan named Uncle Sam's on YouTube. Tune in for some laughs, with a beer in his hand and his feet on the grass. He cheers for the Bogusch and Perloff with a toast to the day. 4th of July is the best, you'll hear him say. Raise your glass, light the sky, it's the 4th once more. Uncle Sam's got stories that you can't ignore. From Maggie to Perloff, he's got quite the plan to celebrate freedom with a drink in his hand. Uncle of the Year with a patriotic twist, watching sports and sipping brews, none he's missed. He jokes and he laughs, spills some too, it's alright, 'cause Drunkle Sam's in charge of the fun tonight. Raise your glass like the sky, it's the fourth once more. Uncle Sam's got stories that you can't ignore. From Maggie to Perloff, he's got quite the plan to celebrate freedom with a drink in his hand.
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Already into this quarterback battle. And I don't even know if either guy's going to see the field. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Of course, talking about the Cleveland Browns, Pearl. Dylan Gabriel v. Shedeur Sanders is going to be one of the big stories of the offseason, and we're here for it. You know, Pickett and Flacco are already in the building, but the Browns really put themselves staunchly, I would say, in the crosshairs, in the spotlight, whatever you want to call it, because Gabriel as a third-round pick seemed like a good idea, right? The guy killed it in the draft process. He'd been in college for a long time.
Killed it in college.
Got better every year, you know, from UCF to Oklahoma, then to Oregon. A couple plays away, he would have been playing in the college football playoff. They had those 2 losses to Washington, and both came down to, like, last-second plays. And maybe he would have been a Final Four quarterback. But anyway, he gets taken in the 3rd round. I don't think anyone thought that was weird. It was picking Shedeur then in the 5th round. And we all know that Shedeur comes with so much attention. So now the two of them are out there at rookie camp taking snaps, and it's all we can watch.
Yeah, I know. These clips are getting passed around of Shedeur. I'm on some Twitter feed that shows me every Shedeur pass. If it's a referendum on how he's going to be as a rookie. The dudes are wearing shorts right now. I do think you set this up in the right way. They are a long way from taking an NFL field in an actual game. It just points to the hype around Shedeur. Dylan Gabriel is almost an afterthought in this. Anything Shedeur does is polarizing, third rail. He is one of those guys in sports who just gets attention for everything he does.
Yep.
And you can't help it. You're just watching him. A, he's clearly a talented player. He had success in Colorado. B, he's got a big personality. C, there's this sort of, I can't exactly explain it, je ne sais quoi, where the media just loves him. They
his dad has a little to do with that too.
But even all the elements make him much more interesting than every other rookie.
And it was the fall. The fall made it even more interesting.
Yes. I think he'd be, right, he'd definitely be the number 1 rookie. I mean, Travis Hunter, maybe, but since he's a quarterback, he'd still be the most interesting quarterback because of his dad. But the fall makes it more interesting. The Browns, for some reason, they're not a good team. They're always kind of interesting.
Yeah, because you're kind of, it's like a train wreck or a car wreck. You're almost waiting to see what's going to go wrong as opposed to what's going to go right because they've earned that reputation.
Or when, for example, when they had Baker Mayfield and they traded for Odell Beckham Jr., now they're going to turn it around. So it's not just a train wreck. There was a year where everybody was they had beaten the Steelers in the playoffs the year before. They were the hype team coming in, and they fell apart.
Here's a question for you guys and everyone on the show, and obviously the audience, most importantly. Can any of these quarterbacks succeed here in Cleveland?
I think so.
Yeah, you and I see this very differently. Okay, so tell me why you think yes.
Joe Flacco, baby, because it was only 2 years ago that he was put up 350 yards a game. I mean, yes, the defense was also catching a couple passes from Joe Flacco. But
the Texans defense you're talking about in the playoffs.
No, and actually, look at his game log at the end of the regular season. He had this run of 5 games where he put up great stats, but he was throwing picks. And there were a lot of drop picks as well. So Flacco is 40, right? Is he actually 40? Right. He's 40 years old. Flacco's physical skills have been the same at 23 and 40. Dude could never move at all. He's got that big arm. He obviously knows Kevin Stefanski's offense, and he's had success in it. Why can't he have moderate success in this offense? I don't understand why he's not the starter, then everyone else falls in line behind him.
Okay, so as far as Flacco, though, Flacco didn't need to get developed. You know, Flacco is a guy who's got 20 years probably now in the NFL. he could come off the couch and start throwing passes in his sleep. You know, he's going to know the verbiage, the language is going to be easy for him to pick up. All those things that Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur are going to have to go through, and maybe even Kenny Pickett to a certain extent, don't exist for Flacco. He's a PhD level at this, right? So take Flacco out of it. I think he would be their like closer if they need it, right? Other guys get hurt. But I'm talking about Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, can either of these guys succeed?
Yeah, I don't care really about Flacco, Pearl. I mean, you know, you're never going to get back to a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco, in my opinion. I'm talking about Shedeur and Dylan, who are going to be in this quarterback competition going throw for throw. Now here, can I listen to Dylan Gabriel, please, Manny? He was being asked questions. This is from Mary Kay. Mary Kay Cabot asking questions about the competition with Shedeur, and he didn't appreciate and doesn't appreciate those kind of questions.
Yeah, I think the more questions I get asked like that, it just divides the team. And for me, I think, we're in a room full of not just us, but Kenny, Joe, and Deshaun. And for us, we know how important a healthy QB room is, but also, a team that you want to be a part of, and how do you create an environment every single day where everyone can be at their best? And that's just pushing one another, which talent naturally does. And, naturally it's healthy, for us where we all go do our thing and everyone wins.
I appreciate that answer. Very mature answer and trying to rise above. But to be fair, the media didn't invent this. The team did. The media didn't invent these divisive questions. The Browns did this in a self-inflicted type of way. I'm not saying it may not work, but this is not the media's fault that the Browns decided to take the most famous guy in the draft in the 5th round to sit right behind Dylan Gabriel and in probably many parts overshadow him. So I respect Gabriel for trying to take the high road, but making the media out to be the boogeyman here when the Browns are the ones that did this. And I would say buckle up because you're going to have to answer these questions over and over and over again.
I agree with what you're saying. The Browns did create it, but it doesn't mean it's the wrong answer from Dylan Gabriel. That's exactly what he's supposed to say.
Sure.
That we're all in the same part. Quarterback rooms are funny. Remember when Favre had Rodgers behind him? Like, you're teammates and you're supposed to get along, but you're competing. The funny thing is we're probably talking about a competition for the 3rd string quarterback. This is going to be what we're all our eyes on. The starter is going to be one of the veterans. I think the question is the Browns have to see, is either of these guys good enough to be the primary backup next year? Can we dump either Pickett or Flacco? I would hope they wouldn't dump Flacco. Maybe they bring him back later. But, yeah, I understand. I think Dylan Gabriel sounds great. I mean, he honestly sounds like personality-wise, he's the right guy to handle this. From Hawaii, laid back. Of all the backup quarterbacks young backup quarterbacks who could handle this, I feel like Dylan Gabriel is the right guy to pair with Shedeur. Can you see a little of that? He's super cool.
About pairing with Shedeur, I don't think there's room for both of them. So I don't know about what this pairing is going to be. I think it's like who's going to survive this quarterback competition. And by the way, I wonder if Shedeur in any way does he have some weird kind of leg up, because the reason why we think that he even got drafted in the first place by the Browns, because he was sinking like a stone. That, what is it, Bill Musgrave, who's the quarterback coach, was Deion's teammate. Yep. It didn't look like anyone wanted to take wanted to take Shedeur. Right. Plenty of people want to take Deion. Didn't want to take Shedeur. So is there something in the building? Is there a relationship that's still at play that maybe Dylan Gabriel doesn't get the benefit of the doubt from?
Well, they took him in the 3rd round over.
I
don't know. Mary Kay originally said the depth chart to her was Pickett 1, Gabriel 2, and Flacco and Shedeur fighting for the 3rd spot. That was her first take. She does not, and I've heard a lot of Cleveland reporters seem to think that Shedeur is really farther behind Dylan Gabriel. Like, there was a reason. Also, Dylan Gabriel, one thing, he's not young either. He's been around a long
3 colleges.
Yeah. He's and Shedeur's not young either. Both of them are Dylan Gabriel's already 24, so he should know how to play quarterback at this point. I think he could easily be a backup quarterback in the NFL.
Let's hear from Shedeur. Manny said he's not worried about his draft slide, now just very concerned about learning the playbook.
But I don't even try to think about that day because I got practice, so all that stuff was cool for that time. But now, I got practice. I got to learn the playbook, so.
Also said he did not watch the Cavs game the other night because he was just so engrossed in the playbook. Listen, that's what you want to hear, right?
Yeah, especially the way the Cavs are playing.
Yeah, who's watching the Cavs right now?
No, he has to ingrain himself into that Cleveland heritage. He's got to watch the Cavs.
They allowed a team to score 80 on them by halftime last night.
They might need a Shedeur.
Personality-wise, by the way, this is maybe I'm half glass full guy. Gabriel and Shedeur are probably going to be pretty tight. Gabriel seems like very, very nice guy. Again, I'm going based on geography. He's from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Super laid back. He's got along with a million teammates. And Shedeur, I still think Shedeur, despite is kind of a low-key get-along guy to some extent. I don't think he's going into a locker room and blowing things up. I've seen a lot of interviews with Shedeur, and I understand some of the criticism, but he doesn't seem like that controversial in the actual locker room to me.
I don't know if it's blowing up a locker room. I just wonder, the criticism that was going on about Shedeur behind the scenes was that he was just not engaged. That's not blowing it up. That's just like that he was kind of in a bubble. That's what the criticism was.
He'd never been
behind
coach
the
sharp as his dad. He did sort of throw his teammates under the bus a couple times.
Meanwhile, Dylan Gabriel was driving a van specifically to be able to carry as many teammates as possible to wherever they needed to go. It's they're being set up as totally different types of guys. So my question is, can either one succeed in Cleveland? Is, as Two-Ton Tony put in our chat, Cleveland sucks. Succinct.
But you actually have heard reports about people say Shedeur is actually a pretty quiet guy. Like I've
that's
heard
what I'm
that.
saying. I don't think it's blow up. That's not. I think that's the wrong term. I think it's just not engaged, which is that.
I don't know. I don't see that either, because how could he have been that productive in Colorado if he wasn't engaged?
I think he was engaged with a bubble.
I think Colorado also was. They were hell-bent on making him a star too. They were going to throw the ball.
This is
a lot.
what people were saying behind the scenes.
Like they were going to make sure that he put up numbers. And I like him as a player, but I think that's fair to say.
Well, I think I thought the rumors were that he's never been in a quarterback battle because his dad's always been the coach, so we don't know how he's going to respond to competition.
Well, that's not a rumor. That's a fact.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that so far it seems fine. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a handful there. I could be totally naive. I think he knows he's a backup quarterback at this point. I bet you he works his butt off. I bet you, what's funny? I would get rid of one of the veterans, and I would just go 2-3 with the rookies. Isn't that the best way to do it? And then just see what you got throughout the year. They'll both get in. It's the Cleveland Browns.
It depends what you really think the outlook for the season is. If you're thinking we are a playoff team, then I don't know if you can afford to do that. Pickett and 2 rookies? No. If you really think you're a playoff team, I don't think you can afford not to have Joe Flacco on the roster.
Well, I would actually,
as a safety net,
I would probably go Flacco and the 2 rookies, to be honest, because Flacco's had proven success there. Pickett's never done anything.
Well, as our own Andrew Kaplan in our chat said, did you see how small Pickett's hands are? They can't keep him.
In that video,
see how small Dylan Gabriel is. I mean, you saw the reporter got caught on hot mic being like, "Gosh, I'm taller than him."
Yeah, he's
tiny.
He measured 5'11" at the combine. Again, we've seen other quarterbacks have success at that height. Yeah, I don't know. Kenny Pickett, what if he's on his 3rd team already? How old is that guy? He's moving around pretty fast in NFL circles. For him to be the starter there would be unexpected to me.
888-710-4ISN. The question, Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel, now in a quarterback battle. Can any of these quarterbacks succeed in Cleveland?
We didn't mention Deshaun. They kept putting Deshaun into those quotes.
Why do we have to keep talking about that? Like, don't we all realize what's going on? The guy tore his Achilles. He's not coming back.
I don't know why Gabriel mentioned that. Is he actually in the quarterback room? Is he there?
He's probably at the facility, like, rehabbing, I would assume.
Yeah, maybe. I'm curious.
Is there like certain type of bonuses that have to kick in for him to be there? I have no idea.
I assumed he was in L.A. or something rehabbing.
Who knows? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I know.
It does not matter.
This is kind of an inconsequential detail. I agree with that.
Coming up, it is Monday, which means we got to take stock of what we saw over the weekend. It is the M&P 500 coming your way next.
Joe Flacco.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Every week we do the M&P 500 stock up, stock down in the world of sports. All sorts of directions, Maggie, this weekend. That's the best thing about the spring. There's such a hodgepodge of sports going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious. I have no idea where you're going, but why don't you get us started?
Okay, my first stock up is going to be stock up on NBA draft lottery conspiracy theories because tonight is our Super Bowl for all of those draft conspiracy theorists, of which I am a card-carrying member. I think the envelope was frozen. Obviously, LeBron going to Cleveland, not a mistake. You know, I'll believe every NBA draft lottery conspiracy theory. And so tonight, Cooper Flagg will finally figure out, where he's headed because we have the draft lottery before the Knicks Celtics game. I'm going to go on record. I think it's DC. I think the Wizards are going to get rewarded. Manny, I know you're going to cut this and I'm going to be proven wrong tomorrow.
Ugh.
This is what I think. I think DC's having a bit of a renaissance. Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So you've got, DC kind of on the rise, maybe.
Wow, Jaden Daniels.
Sports town.
Look at that.
New stadium.
Look at that. New football stadium.
Yeah, big market. DC
I don't know.
Actually a good sports town.
DC nationally, I think, I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, there's
ACC
definitely
country, sort
the
of.
least relevant franchise in all pro sports is Washington basketball.
No, the Hornets.
I think the Hornets are more. I think Washington has had a way of going under the radar on the national scene, basketball-wise. I mean, they are non-entity.
And that stops tonight.
Well, why not go with another team that's a non-entity then, like New Orleans or Charlotte?
Well, I think New Orleans already got their bite with Zion.
Sorry, I meant Utah. Why not Salt Lake?
It could be Utah.
Wait, Maggie, you think the ping pong bowls will take all that into effect?
Shockingly, yes.
Okay.
So
multi-billion-dollar
can
industry
we all go on
leaving
the
this stuff to
record?
ping pong ball. Sure.
We should all go on the record with our team then.
All right, so this is my stock up
You
NBA
go.
draft lottery conspiracy theories. I'll take Washington Wiz.
Washington is number 2, but they flatten the
odds.
odds. They're number 2 in the lottery. They're tied top 3 with odds, and my Sixers are 5th. So, okay, we'll get into that. At the end of the show, I want you to put down, you're going with Washington.
Yep.
Okay.
All in all, just a big night for all us draft conspiracy theorists.
I'm going to go my stock up. Can we give some love to Anthony Edwards? And I know everyone's saying, of course, he's Anthony Edwards. He's a star. This guy was falling apart, and he stepped up in a huge way in Game 3 against the Warriors to lead the T-Wolves. 36 points. He's clearly hurt, and he still had a dunk that looked like it was something out of a dunk contest in the middle of a game over 3 guys. And I think that is the moment the T-Wolves won that game. The Warriors like, oh, I forgot. Anthony Edwards is not totally hurt. Finally hit some 3-pointers in the second half of that game. I am now back on the T-Wolves bandwagon. I'd fallen off because Anthony Edwards has been playing very poorly. I think it's his ankle. A lot of writing about how he can't finish the basket. I think that guy is a gamer. I really think that he's honestly not that good of a player. I think he steps up because he doesn't generally feel the postseason pressure. Feels like he's young and naive. I really think we're underestimating him as his basketball character because he was getting criticized a lot coming into this game. He couldn't finish, and then boom, he just killed the Warriors in the second half of that game.
Not that good of a player? Where'd you come up with that?
Well, no, I mean, he's been struggling. A lot of people were coming after him.
Right. He didn't shoot well in the first 2 games of this
No,
year.
no, I don't think, actually, honestly, I don't think he is he's sort of the leading scorer last year's postseason, one of the leading scorers of this year's. I just don't think, I think his sort of, I don't think he's that skilled. No, I mean, I think there are better shooters. I think there are more refined offensive players. I think there are better defensive players. I think he just doesn't care. I think his best quality is that he got in LeBron's face. He is just totally fearless. I think that's his best quality. Does that totally sound strange? I mean, there are more. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a much more skilled offensive player.
Yeah, I mean, Edwards hit more threes than anyone in the league this year, so that made me think, no, shooting is just fine. He just was not good in the first 2 games of the series. I'll give you that. Maybe one of the great in-game dunkers we may have, though.
Yeah, I mean, that dunk on Saturday was unbelievable. I'll save it for my stock down, but there's another in-game dunker that I have. Go ahead.
Okay. If the stock goes up, the stock goes down. Don't we know that? This one's away from sports, guys. Stock down airplane travel this summer. This is my neck of the woods here because I live in New Jersey, home of Newark Airport, which you may know because it leads your nightly news almost every evening because of how bad things are going there. But if you heard over the weekend, they're saying these problems may start spreading to other airports because there's a dearth of air traffic controllers. It's like one of the most stressful jobs apparently in the world, Pearl. Like the health risks that come with being an air traffic controller apparently really, really high, like high blood pressure and everything. It's not for the weak at heart, faint at heart, and it's hard to train people, so there's just not a lot of them. I'm a little nervous for this summer for all of us collectively trying to take trips. EJ's about to go on a trip tomorrow. I hope you're not leaving from Newark.
Hell no.
Got JFK written all over it.
Yeah, JFK, baby.
But here's the thing. Last year, you guys know, I happened to be traveling the day the blue screen of death that took out everything from like London to Singapore.
Right. Are you flying soon?
Yeah, I do have a couple flights coming up soon. I mean, I'm here hanging in the show. I'm not taking crazy vacation. But yeah, this summer, I'm taking a summer vacation like everybody else.
Why did you fly from New York?
I already bought the tickets like long before this all went down with the air traffic controllers. So anyway, just stock down airplane travel this summer.
Yeah, it's a serious issue. Also,
Pile in the van.
I need things to be safe. Okay, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go. Stock down is actually a positive. Jonathan Kuminga is all of a sudden the youngest, most exciting player in the league. At 22, he's Golden State Warriors forward. Scored 30 the other night. So I was reading into it. I'm like, how come the Warriors, don't play this guy more? Yeah. No idea. What happened and why is he a free agent after this year? Apparently, they could not reach an agreement on an extension before the trade deadline. So he's 22 years old, and is a human pogo stick at 6'6". I think he's going to be unbelievable. I think he's going to get a kind of a max offer this year. And explain to me, seeing this player, why wasn't he incorporated into the Steph Curry Warriors? How come Steve Kerr didn't play him? So that's a stock down for the Warriors, not realizing they had this talent until it's too late.
Well, but isn't Steve Kerr too good of a coach to say he didn't realize what he had? I mean, same thing with Trace Jackson-Davis. I think Kerr's we saw it in the Olympics when he didn't play Tatum. He gets really married to his rotations, and I think if you're out, you're out.
Yeah, it must
think of all the pressure there was to play Tatum, and he was like, I just don't care. He doesn't fit.
Well, that's a little different here. I mean, that was the Olympic team. But, yeah, I'm not sure that Steve Kerr was doing his normal rotations. But he's clearly playing him now, and he's clearly killing it. He's a guy who can in-game dunk like Anthony Edwards. He just gets up and keeps going. I'm really excited about his future. Can't believe he's 22 because I feel like he was drafted about 5 or 6 years ago.
He's 2 years younger than Dylan Gabriel?
He is. He's very young. He's very exciting, but the Warriors kind of screwed this up. I thought they were going to win Game 3. I was positive because Jimmy played really well. They just didn't really quite have the energy to hang with. And if Anthony Edwards didn't all of a sudden find his shot, they probably would have won that game. So, again, can they hold out? Steph had a workout on Saturday, I believe. Can they hold out to Game 6? I'm not giving up on my Warriors.
Okay, a little M&P stock up, stock down from the weekend. Who's up, who's down? I think I got to go stock up a little on Travis Hunter. What a weekend. He graduated from the University of Colorado, so there you go. And a stranger posted something online about how he helped her with her bag, and he was this nice young man, and she had no idea who he was. It's like, hey, this random person was so nice and helped me. I mean, it's what you do when nobody's looking, Pearl. That's who really that's what defines your character.
The reports are he's just a gem of a human being. Likes to fish. There was video of him dancing at the rookie camp where he looked, he's an amazing dancer.
Well, it's just because you like to fish doesn't mean you have great character. Do you not recall that scandal from a few years ago where people at the fishing competition were putting weights in their fish? Cheating?
I think the point was most college kids are out partying all night long, and he'd rather sit alone on a lake. I don't know if he was following all the rules.
The fisherman rules?
Yeah, no, I think Travis Hunter seems like a guy who wears clear glasses, wears glasses a lot, makes him seem
you
smart.
Feel kindred spirit with him?
Yeah, Travis Hunter and me are basically the same. There's 100 reasons I like that guy. I am really excited for him in Jacksonville. I mean, and I actually like that the team isn't great, so they can use him all the time. Can I do one more stock up, a weird one?
Yeah.
So, Indiana, Benedict Mathurin got kicked out yesterday. Probably a little harsh, I thought. They have their professional irritant, and EJ alerted me to this. Benedict Mathurin is very, very talented young player. He's also super young. He is the annoying guy on the Pacers. It used to be Aaron Nesmith, but this is a next step up talent level. He drives people crazy, and I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, they showed like a whole highlight reel, lowlights, whatever, of him and DeAndre Hunter getting into it over the course of many games. And then it ends with him, though, closed fist punching. Stupid thing to do. You're going to get ejected every time.
I think he might be the most annoying non-hockey Canadian.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's Canadian. He's supposed to be nice.
Yeah, he's definitely not nice.
Isn't Dylan Brooks Canadian?
Ooh.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's learning from the best.
Come on, guys.
But
I think Canada's changing its rep.
He's a much better player than those. Like, Bennett Matherin can ball.
Yeah, he's a lottery pick.
Yeah, so unlike Dylan Brooks, who uses that character to make up for sort of shortcomings. And Aaron Nesmith, to me, was the annoying guy on the Pacers. He's taken a
TJ
side.
McConnell also. Like,
so annoying.
They love those guys.
I cannot stand respectfully. I cannot.
Did you see when Donovan Mitchell blocked a shot into the third row last night?
Yes, I did actually.
Oh, that was beautiful. And this is a former Sixer. I can't stand that dude. The Pacers might be annoying enough to win the NBA Finals. You might have been on
Annoying enough. Last one for me, it's a stock down. Jordon Hudson. Oh, third place in the Miss Maine competition.
What a loser.
Well, I mean, that's only what Belichick would say.
I was actually kind of impressed. So this is bad. She should have won this thing.
Well, she was first runner-up last year, so second place last year, now third place this year. I asked her, are you going in the right direction?
Do we know the name of the lady who won?
No.
She's dating Sean Payton, though.
Oh, okay.
Pete Carroll, I thought was what you were going to say. I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised. First of all, she is beautiful. She did win most stylish as a, consolation prize.
What is this, a yearbook?
It's
most likely to succeed.
It's congeniality.
Most likely to date a football coach.
So anyway, she came in third. I just think, what would the coach Bill Belichick say? Like, are you going back to the tape? Are you studying it? Are you figuring out what you did wrong?
Now, Jordan, what went wrong over here? You didn't take the correct steps down the runway.
He's like, the head cheerleader at Hancock High School could have gotten higher place than you.
Well,
Anyway.
I was like, oh my gosh. I actually thought this Miss USA thing was kind of a joke. So but the fact that she came in third, I misread it. I was like, wow, she's really good at this.
No, she came in second last year.
Yeah,
we're going backwards.
So she's legitimate, though. That's
We're regressing.
Legitimate.
Yeah. I mean, she's like a real contestant. I thought
Yes.
she was just there. Like, she knows how to do the game, whatever they do at the Miss USA pageant. Like
Not well enough to win Rhode Island, though.
Maine.
Whatever.
Good enough
Does
to
it
come in
matter?
second and third in Maine. There's probably 50,000 people she
There
was
were
competing.
17 people
That's
competing,
like
bro.
that's like finishing in the NIT semifinals.
I don't think Maine has 50,000.
Is this an
in the
anti-Maine
population.
women thing we're doing here? Like, you're saying if it was California, she'd come in third, it'd be great, right?
No.
I think it's an anti-Maine thing.
No, I think it's a Belichick only had one standard, and it was winning. I mean, Belichick very much like Pete Bellotti, like second place is the first loser, you know? And I think that she'd be held to the same standard.
Wow. Okay.
What is it, participation trophies?
I'm a
You
great
think-
time.
You think that's how the Patriots won 6 rings?
She was better than 14 other Miss Maine competition.
And
people.
that may be fine for you and me, but we're not Bill Belichick.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, also, like, again, like, she actually didn't get to Miss USA. This is like losing in the conference tournament.
Yes.
You know, it's like, oh,
She's off the bubble.
Yeah, like you're in the what's the NEC or whatever, the Patriot League. You're like, conference tournament, and you finish in third, or you're like, is that a good job?
but guys, she's Bill's girlfriend. She's not Tom's girlfriend. So what do you expect here?
Ouch.
She's
By
the
the
Mac
way-
Jones of this situation.
By the way, Shelby Howell is the woman that won Miss Maine.
Congrats,
Shout out
Shelby.
to Shelby.
Named after a Ford Mustang.
We're not producing too many Shelbys nowadays. I'm surprised. That's
Yeah,
her
that
name.
one kind of went by the wayside.
Shelby Harris, interior defensive lineman. Was at
Why did
Bronco. I don't know
take you
where
so
he's
seriously
at.
when you said that. I was
Shelby
like, oh my God, is
Miller.
there like a young actress I don't know named Shelby? Like, of course.
I think, was he in the Russell Wilson trade?
Yeah, probably.
The only
He
thing
does
that,
a podcast with a friend of mine.
the only thing that could make that sentence more Perloff was if he was an interior offensive lineman.
Not defensive lineman.
Exactly.
Bogush has headlines for us. What's up, folks?
The NFL will unveil a handful of games over the next few days before unleashing the full schedule on us Wednesday night. The first announcement of today is the Eagles hosting the Cowboys on the opening Thursday night of the season. That's September 4th. This is the usual spot for those Super Bowl champs. Now,
Can I say something I hate?
please.
This is a woman shakes fist at cloud. I hate when my team opens up the season with the division game.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it. They're too important. You know, it's like you have no idea what you have. You have no idea what they have. Maybe you have a little idea, but like it's that first game. Nerves are high. I hate the fact that those games sometimes can decide who, goes to the playoffs.
I know the real reason why you hate them.
Why is that?
Because Buffalo in September is beautiful. and you know that
It's a waste.
your Fugazi home field advantage of someone going in there. We got to cancel the game and play on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
None of those shenanigans can happen in September, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful in September. I want Tua looking around at the snow like he's in
Maggie.
a Christmas movie.
Josh Allen could be in a coma until Halloween, and they could win that division by 3 games. So I would not panic over this. Hey, I got a spread on that Eagles-Cowboys game.
Go Bills.
Is it 7.5? Like you said?
7.
Dang. A lot of points.
You jumping on that right now?
What are you talking about? What makes you think the Cowboys are going to be good? Their win total is like 8.
That Prescott healthy. You just still got CD Lamb. I think they can score.
Who's putting their money down right now?
I'll do it.
Honestly, I think they're...
Put 5 on the
You're
Cowboys.
not in the argument with these two. I'm talking about these two jabronis.
I'll put $5 on the points on the Cowboys plus 7.
I don't like that.
I would put the Cowboys at the point. Yeah, I would take the Cowboys too, definitely.
I would probably take the Cowboys too. I'm famous betting against the Eagles. But also, too,
that's the true Andrew.
To be
Perloff
honest, you
experience.
get healthy Saquon. Saquon's obviously all the science says Saquon's going to break down hardcore this year because of all the carries last year. I'll take my Birds plus -7.
Wow.
Oh, I thought you just said you were taking the Cowboys.
No, I want to, but to counter EJ here, I will, make it more fun.
Okay, Bogues, back to you.
We got to put some stakes on this. I'll do something with Philadelphia related.
Why just put money on it? It's the money line -298 Eagles on DraftKings plus 240 Cowboys.
Oh no, something for the show. The show doesn't care if we exchange $20 bills.
You have to stand in that cheesesteak line of Bradley Cooper's cheesesteak restaurant, which is around here. The line is around the block. You'll be in there for 2 hours.
Buy cheesesteaks for the group. It's May 12th, by the way. I'm just curious, which Cowboys will be hurt by September 8th?
All of them.
September 4th.
The entire offensive line.
It doesn't make you nervous that we're going to have all these Philly celebrities, Bradley Cooper, Kevin Hart. They're going to be doing pregame videos for NBC. You're going to have your crush Anne Hathaway is apparently now on the Eagles bandwagon.
No, I think though. I actually think this is great for the Cowboys. I know this is like we're getting off a take here, but I actually do feel like you're right. All of this attention is going to be on the defending champion Eagles, and what
for
normally,
once, not the Cowboys.
Normally, week 1 is about the Cowboys. Not all the hoopla is going to be about the champs celebrating their championship.
Cowboys
I think this is actually
Giants.
great. The Cowboys may come in kind of under the radar.
Yeah, I'm also glad. I think Trayvon Diggs is coming back early in the season, like week 4 or 5. That's good for us. A lot of positives here. What am I talking about? We're the defending champions. The Cowboys were 7-10 last year. 7 points is not a crazy spread.
You're just you're never far away from just pure Philly panic. You're always one step away. He just had to remind himself that they won the Super Bowl.
Whatever. You're worried. You were just worried about Tua and the Dolphins.
A little bit.
You're like,
no, it's
I can't believe
Drake May.
I hope the Bills don't have an AFC East game in game 1. What are you talking about?
Fair. $5 bet on the Cowboys, just placed by me.
All right, so
I'm taking Cowboys in the points.
$2 back?
I'm winning $4.
Oh, okay.
That's such a waste. You're going to forget that bet is even here in September.
That's all right. I was thinking about also putting, there's another spread out, by the way. No, I'm sorry. That's a preseason game. Bogues, back to you.
Game 3 was a 22-point home loss, letting the Cavs back into the second round series. Then game 4 was 80-39 Pacers at half, 129-109 in the end. So Tyrese Halliburton and company have a 3-1 lead.
I thought last game they set the tone from a physicality standpoint. That's been a talking point from them all series, and they set the tone. And today we came out, set the tone from the jump, and really just rode that wave.
And again, setting the tone included Benedict Mathurin punching DeAndre Hunter in the chest and getting ejected just 7 minutes into this game. Halliburton, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, and Obi Toppin all had 20-point games for Indy. A little less offense, a lot more drama in Denver yesterday afternoon. The Thunder dragging out a 92-87 win to even that series at 2. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 25 for OKC. The Winnipeg Jets lost Game 3 in Dallas yesterday afternoon, 5-2, and they were not happy about a postgame. The tie-breaking goal came early third period when Dallas defenseman Alexander Petrovic kicked the puck towards Jets goalie Connor Hellebuck, who then accidentally deflected that puck into the net. The goal survived a 5-minute review. This is Jets head coach Scott Arniel.
The rule states that if the puck gets kicked, if it hits a body or a stick of anybody else other than the goaltender, it counts as a goal. It hit our goaltender's stick and went in the net. That is no goal. So They said that Helly propelled the puck in. I haven't seen the word propel in the rule book.
The Stars then scored a regular, non-debatable goal 42 seconds later for a 4-2 lead, which again became a 5-2 win and a 2-1 series lead.
There has to be a time limit on these,
Yes.
on the reviews. Like, if you can't figure it out in the first 90 seconds, I think call stands.
Well, it also feels like you're trying to find, you're searching for an answer at some point to like you're working backwards. The bigger thing for me is the NHL once again benefits from being the NHL in this scenario because their officials and their league headquarters are worse than everybody else's. If this was the NFL or even the NBA or baseball, this would have been the lead of your show today.
Right.
But it's the NHL and their officials suck when it comes to this stuff, goalie interference, illegal hits. It's a bleep show, and they get away with it because no one outside of hockey actually cares about it.
Is this the leading story on TSN this morning?
It probably is, actually, yeah.
But here's the thing, Bo, because I hate to say it, all the leagues get away with it because there's nothing we can do. We can complain about it, but that's about it. They all get away with it.
But in the NBA, we know Scott Foster's name and his Game 7 record, that he hates Chris Paul, and we know all NFL referees and their tendencies, and we make fun of the guys on TV who get right or wrong.
But what is the one job none of us here could do of the officials in a million years? The NHL guys are on skates.
Yeah.
Now the league office is not going to pass.
No, they're
but the guys
standing. They're in shoes.
They're in shoes, I assume. But the NBA, it's the
That's a
middle
good
of
idea,
third
though. They're
quarter.
just doing laps as they're breaking this down in headquarters in
I always
Toronto.
thought one of the hardest jobs is actually the person who interviews the Kentucky Derby winner who's also
the horse.
on a horse.
Yep, that's huge. Huge. But it's got to be the NBA will spend 14 minutes on a out of bounds play in the midway through the third quarter. Whoever's doing replays in every sport, do like college football used to be, where it's just immediately just see it and just call it. The NBA, aren't their reviews way too long? Am I missing something?
Everything is. That's what I'm saying. There should be a time limit. If you can't figure it out, and what do you want? 90 seconds, 30 seconds? Time for a commercial? Another Wingstop commercial?
There was a play in the Barcelona Real Madrid game yesterday that they went to the review and it took 5 minutes and it was clear to me and they still ended up getting the call wrong.
Was it a goal, Betty, or no?
It was a handball inside the box with the 70-minute mark in El Clasico.
By the way, that game was pretty intense.
Oh my God!
sorry, that match.
Yeah, no, I needed a cigarette after that game.
Manny didn't have a mouthful of Zins. He would have needed a smoke.
Oh my goodness! So, 7 points clear now. We're almost there, boys. We're almost there.
No girlfriend, but El Clasico.
No girlfriend, but you know what? Lamine Yamal, he completes me.
That dude is a lot of
He's 17
personality.
years old. He is a king. He's so good.
He's too young for Belichick.
Prince.
Yeah, that's also a very
Are
good
you
point.
sure?
Manny, you should get
Is
his.
it legal?
You should get his haircut.
His blonde, combed down. I don't think I would.
He looks like a hip Mark Davis. It's an unbelievable haircut.
And he still has braces too. I mean,
Yes.
this kid he's going to be a star.
And I asked you this in jest. Like, there are rules about his playing time because he's a teenager?
No, sir.
I thought there was something in Spain where he had
a labor law?
Yeah, he's
Nah.
17.
Nah, man.
He can't work after 8?
He's the best teenager
Since Lionel
professional,
Messi.
but like the best professional teenager, I feel like, in any sport in the world right now.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
there's no tennis phenom that's under
It's
20.
either him or Cooper Flag.
Cooper
but he's,
Flag,
he's
baby.
definitely better.
Cooper Flag's got nothing on this.
Yeah, no,
Flag
I
is the
agree.
closest
I know.
Young woman's golfer, maybe?
No, I was the other day was the Champions League match. I was thinking just very quickly. There's a teenage F1 driver this year, but there's no tennis studs phenoms on either tour, and that's basically it as the competition. Because he's unbelievable.
Sports is now an old man's game,
This
ladies' game.
This is a whole different thing.
Well, listen, the old guy Mbappe, how old is he?
26.
He's-
Yeah.
28.
I was going to say, what about Victor Hovland? Isn't he like
he held up for
22?
us old guys pretty well, Mbappe.
Yeah, Mbappe, I think, was born in '98. So do the math right there.
Oh, wow.
He had a
what an
goal yesterday,
ancient.
right? Or am I imagining that?
No, he scored a hat trick yesterday,
Yeah.
but all for naught.
Psycho Manny, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476.
Good night, Madrid.
Yeah, girls, the line's to the left.
Yeah, tough talking now with an ocean between you. Okay, lots more to do, including, we got a retirement over the weekend and also some rookie minicamp news. MMP.
Go Birds!
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie Perloff Show. I maybe shouldn't have been surprised, but was, mildly surprised to see Derek Carr say that he was hanging it up, calling it a career. 11 seasons, 9 with the Raiders. 2 with the Saints. He's the Raiders' all-time leading passer. No playoff wins to show for it, though. 1 playoff appearance, 1 game, and he lost it in Cincinnati, Pearl. It's a unique legacy for a guy who started for that long, who was considered a franchise quarterback for that long, but to have no postseason resume, like to speak of at all. Got to team up with his college teammate and best friend Devontae Adams. Thought that was going to launch this kind of like new trajectory to his career. Nothing came of it. But meanwhile, to the team that he leaves behind, and we were actually asking you today, who do you blame more for Derek Carr's like lack of success? Is it Derek Carr? Is he to blame for his own career not, being more successful, or is it the Raiders who, to be fair, is not one of the best run organizations, and that's an understatement.
Yeah.
So on the Saints side of it, though,
right.
I think this is now a candidate to be the number 1 overall pick for next year.
Right.
A tank candidate. I know they don't usually do that, but you know what? Desperate times. You've got veterans who, if healthy, could be, appealing at the deadline. Does someone want to add a Cam Jordon? Does someone want to add, a healthy Alvin Kamara? Somebody who could help them win. I think this is the time when the Saints should be sellers. Maybe you hope and pray that Arch Manning comes out of Texas, maybe, and you get the hometown local guy. It'd be a great story. They've got Tyler Shuck now they just drafted. I just think that it's got to be tank season for the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, also Garrett Nussmeier, I think the LSU quarterback could be in play, LSU to New Orleans. But there are a couple things working against that tank. They're in the NFC South.
Right.
You have to be really bad to tank there. I mean, listen, I know everyone thinks Bryce Young is the second coming now in this building right now. But the Panthers, you never know which way they're going to go. Atlanta has never figured it out. The Bucs are kind of average, 9-8, 10-7. The Saints overall have the second easiest schedule in the NFL based on last year's winning percentage. The thing about the Saints is they have all these old players, and they haven't gotten rid of them yet, Maggie. So why do you think that they're going to get rid of them now? That's what happens with the Saints. All of a sudden, everyone gets healthy in Week 12, and they have a very surprising game. Listen to these guys. I mean, how many guys with some Pro Bowl experience? Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Brandon Cooks is there again. Cam Jordon on defense. Demario Davis, who was a lovely Super Bowl interview, I might add.
Yeah.
Honey Badger's still there, according to this depth chart. They have Chase Young is he's getting up there now too. So they have a lot of veterans who probably will be playing with a lot of pride, and they have nothing to lose for. So I think to tank, I think you would have to sort of gut the team at the trade deadline, and GM Mickey Loomis doesn't operate that way. Generally, he's never been. I mean, listen, he's bringing all these guys back now. He could have done this in the offseason, and he really has not operated that way. Also, one thing, they keep on drafting on the offensive line. Now, has it worked? No, not necessarily. They drafted Trevor Penning a few years ago, and they just had to replace him in this year's draft with Calvin Banks. But they could probably run the ball with that offensive line. So I see them winning a few too many games. Now, are they going to be top 10 to get a quarterback? I would not be surprised at all. Number 1 overall, I don't know if that's happening.
I think when you have it in your sights, all those older guys that you just mentioned, they can also easily go on IR. They can easily, I said, get traded at the deadline. And I know you said they have an easy schedule because I get that they play in the NFC South. They're playing the AFC East this year and the NFC West. So they're going to Buffalo, to Chicago, to the Rams, to Seattle, to Miami. These are not easy places to win. San Francisco goes to them. Like they're going to have some really tough games this year.
I mean, they're going to be. There's a couple teams that they might be competing with. I mean, they got the Cardinals, they got the Titans, they got the Patriots, they got the Jets, they got the Giants, they got the Dolphins. I think there are a lot of teams that are on the lower tier here. I mean, it's the second easiest by number. I wasn't doing by
right.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams that could really bottom out in that list.
But who are they? Like, even if you just went, let's go quarterback matchups here. I'd take Kyler Murray over anybody in the Saints quarterback room right now. I'd take Tua over anyone in their quarterback room right now. It's Tyler Shuck, who we've not seen take one NFL snap, Spencer Rattler, and is Jake Hayner. I mean, come on. This looks like a tank, unless somehow Shuck becomes, a Rookie of the Year candidate.
Yeah, it's a weird quarterback room.
Drake
but one thing,
May, I don't know.
But who's older? The people that you just mentioned. You got to remember that Shuck has a big experience edge over all these guys.
Yeah, but I'd rather go into this fight with Drake May, who literally started NFL games last year.
Like older than Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, the thing is Shuck.
Those
can
guys
you
are
get
on their
enough
second contracts?
Can they get enough out of Shuck before he retires? I'm half joking. He turns 26 in September. 26. He's not a rookie.
But he may play like a rookie. 888-710-4ISN. In fact, I'm expecting it. 888-710-4476. So, Derek Carr, who's to blame for his career not being more successful, him or the Raiders? And we've got more for you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, got some breaking news for you from the NBA. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. According to Shams Charania, Giannis Antetokounmpo, for the first time in his career, according to Shams, is now open-minded about whether his best fit is remaining in Milwaukee or playing elsewhere. I would push back that this is the first time in his career that he's thought about this, because this guy loves to do these passive-aggressive things in the offseason. Will he? Won't he? Is he going to ask out of Milwaukee? But here's one thing we know. It's not just a outright ploy, naked ploy for a new contract, because he just signed one of those. So it really is about whether he thinks he can win again, or whether he wants to leave and go somewhere else. But this is not a Myles Garrett situation where he would be like demanding a trade, but if they make the money right, don't worry, just kidding, psych, I'm fine, I'll come back. This really is I think he believes that he can't win another title in Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's a LeBron James move, right? Because LeBron never needed a bigger contract. Right. He always wanted to go to a potential champion. Now, one thing, I was just debating this in the break here. I would not totally rule out Milwaukee, because a lot of insiders are at least giving lip service to Milwaukee still in it, because I don't see that there's necessarily a perfect fit. The report last week was he wanted Miami, LA, or New York. And you and I were wondering, wait, does that mean Clippers and Lakers? Does that mean Nets and Knicks? But there really is no perfect spot, because I worry wherever Giannis goes, they're going to have to give up too much to get him, and they're going to be left with basically an empty cupboard, and then Giannis isn't going to improve his title chances. It reminds me a little bit, and EJ, sorry to bring this up, when the Knicks traded away their whole team to get Carmelo and then took a little while to build a roster around him. So the Lakers or the Knicks, they would have to give him so much. Would it be worth it for Giannis to go there?
Well, the Knicks don't have a lot of draft picks because they gave him up for Mikal Bridges. The Lakers do, because the Lakers didn't have to give up a lot of draft picks to get Luka Doncic, because that trade is still insane no matter how many ways you slice it. I think that Giannis, first of all, there is something to the timing here. So the draft lottery is tonight in Chicago. That's because the draft combine, they don't call it a combine, whatever they call it, is also in Chicago. So for what we need to know, yeah. Soon, Manny, soon. The whole NBA world is all in one spot. So to put this out there through the number one NBA insider right now, that Woj is retired from the game, definitely sends a louder message than just we're exploring best fits. This is now we're all in Chicago together. Come and start making your offers here. So what I would say is I think that list of cities is going to expand very, very quickly.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's going to include the Houston Rockets.
Oof.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think that's going to, because you're talking about the return here, and I'm looking around at the league, and it's like, well, the Rockets are a team that is thought to be really on the rise. Yeah. Now, they lost in Game 7 to the Warriors on their home floor, and that stinks, and they couldn't shoot and all of that. But Giannis would completely change and transform their outlook.
Right. So I'm assuming that they would they have to give up Jalen Green to get him?
I think they'd probably have to give up Şengün to get him. And
well, yeah, but the Rockets, the two young players were so disappointing. Jalen Green was terrible in the playoffs. So I'm wondering if Milwaukee's like, maybe
I think they want Şengün and probably Reed Shepherd and, picks and all of that. So
I don't know if that's that attractive to them. I think, I don't know.
Okay,
they already have a 40-year-old Brook Lopez. The Şengün is, what does he do?
Well, Lopez may not be there, but here's let's just address it. Do we think he's going to the Lakers? Forget what I said about the Rockets or whatever, Memphis.
The Lakers package is terrible. Austin Reeves or Rui Hachimura for Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Okay, well, Anthony Davis said, I want to go to the Lakers and only the Lakers. And at first, the Pelicans said, over our dead bodies. And then 18 months later, he was a Laker. So I've seen this movie before.
The Bucks cannot do that, Maggie. They cannot take those two players and some other bad contracts and some picks for 9 years from now for Giannis. I mean, I guess they could, but you got to – I like what you said first. Open it up. At least Houston has young guys. You got to get a better package than. And I'm sorry again, the Knicks and the Lakers are offering discounted packages, hoping that the lure of the big city will get Giannis to push the team to do it.
So the Knicks could be a Karl Anthony Towns situation, and obviously he hurt his finger, hand, whatever, but it looks like he's going to play tonight. But the salaries would match up. I just feel like this is is this feeling to anyone else in the room like a Lakers or bust situation? And
No.
it's going to be the Bucks really who are going to, obviously they hold the cards, but, is Giannis going to pull a Kevin Durant just did this 2 years ago, who was obviously not in his prime anymore, even though Durant's still pretty good, but not in his prime, said I want to go to Phoenix and only Phoenix. Like superstars, he could just say that. He could say, I want to go to the LA Lakers and only the Lakers.
So the Lakers would offer, it's got to be Austin Reeves to start with, and probably Rui Hachimura, and I guess they had Maxi Kleber on the Bucks cannot do that deal. I'm not saying the NBA should interfere Chris Paul style, but that's insane to me. Am I missing something? That would be the worst trade package the Bucks could possibly
Nobody
take.
stepped in, and they just got Luka for a bag of peanuts.
Right, they got Anthony Davis back, who's still a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah.
Okay, but he played for a half and then had to sit out for 3 more
I know,
weeks.
but this is different than Austin Reeves, Maggie. I think I agree with Perloff. It's I just don't see the package unless
LeBron
James gets in the trade.
to Milwaukee.
And maybe we get a third team in there. Let's get him to Cleveland. And
Yeah,
then
I was
we send
wondering, when does LeBron
Cleveland,
go back to the
maybe
Cavs
all those
again?
young players like Evan Mobley and those guys. Maybe that's how you get this whole trade to happen.
Yeah,
Wow,
listen, I'm not ruling out there'd have to be 3 teams, but here's the thing
Maybe
about
a 4th
Giannis,
team.
and this is maybe a 6 team, a 7 team. The whole league's involved.
A 9-team trade. First one
Wait,
in
how about
history.
LeBron to Dallas, by the way, while we're at it?
No, so, don't bail out Nico. So here's the other part. So we're talking about this is the breaking news this morning from Shams is that Giannis is open to leaving Milwaukee. We've all kind of seen this writing on the wall. I hesitate to call this breaking news, but it's definitely strategic news. Let's put it that way, because the whole NBA world is in Chicago right now for the draft lottery and for the combine. But I guess here's what the Bucks, I think, have to be smart about. You're not going to get fair value back, right? You're trading a 2-time MVP in his prime still. The idea you're going to get a perfect trade back is not going to exist. So they're going to try to get close to it.
Well,
but
unlike the Luka trade, I think that they're going to put it out there, as you mentioned, and try and get the best offer they can.
So the opposite of the Luka trade.
Right. Unlike the Luka trade.
Yeah.
So I think they can do better than the Lakers. The other thing, too, a team like the Knicks or Lakers or even the Clippers, to get him, you have to give up so much. Or is there going to be enough there for Giannis to win a title?
Well,
Maybe not year 1, but you build.
The Knicks are in a weird spot because they have a player who's an all-star who already makes a lot of money. So, in theory, if the Bucks were willing to take Cat and not take much other players, then technically...
Why would they do that, though?
That would be back to Maggie's point of maybe he says, listen, do me a solid. I've been great here. I want to go to New York.
Let's work together.
Yeah, let's work together. You're getting an all-star player back. This is not Austin Reeves, okay? You can still compete if you have Karl Anthony Towns and give you Miles McBride or something like that.
Oh, I was wondering where your anti-Austin Reeves stuff just came from. Now I get it.
No, being serious, I think that's the reality, right?
Because you like Austin Reeves, by the way.
No, but I think there are levels to this, right? We're talking about star players. If you're the Bucks, you got to sell something to your fans.
Right.
Are you going to sell Austin Reeves to your fans? You traded the greatest player in your history.
Ersan Ilyasova ain't coming back.
Wait, just since you know the Knicks so well, what would they have to give up in addition to Cat? Could there be another young talent?
Me and Manny been doing this back and forth. I think what could be weird is I think the Knicks are in a weird spot because even though the salaries match, they're so close to the second apron that they can't really mess around and even have $1 or $2 million be off. So what's going to end up happening is the Bucks will be like, all right, we'll take Cat, but you got to take some of our trash. Here's Kyle Kuzma and give me Josh Hart. And that's where something may get, or Mikal Bridges. That's where maybe things get weird because maybe the Knicks are giving up now a valuable player for
another
a
starter.
Complete negative.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Mikal Bridges.
I think that Josh Hart way more valuable to the Knicks than any other
But
team.
they take Kyle Kuzma off their team. He didn't score. And he was terrible. That's where I think the poison pill comes in for the Knicks. Okay, you don't got draft picks. Well, you got to get some of this crap off my team.
And Kyle Kuzma's contract ain't pretty.
Yeah, but they'll do it for Giannis. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So that's the latest, most up-to-date news we have for you this morning because also the draft lottery is tonight. So we're going to find out where is Cooper Flag going?
I think
By
the
one more
Giannis
thing,
thing.
too.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
The Clippers have been continually rumored to be a Giannis spot too.
Yeah, and that's where again it's tricky because now it's like, all right, you got to match that salary. The two
signed
guys,
Harden to an
guys that
extension.
match that salary close to it are going to be Harden and Kawhi.
Well, you said star power to Milwaukee. Would they take one of those two guys?
I mean, what's the strip club situation in Milwaukee?
I mean, it's awfully cold out in the winter. You got to go somewhere, Mac.
I spent the summer out in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But EJ and I were actually also maybe floating around that other team in Texas to perhaps win
Dallas?
the Giannis. No.
No.
Oh, Houston.
San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio.
Oh, that's
Good
the
point.
team.
Really
I think
good point.
Popovich is walking into a new situation, and he could make a huge splash. They have everything anybody would want. You got a young star, De'Aaron Fox. You got cap
Rookie of the
room.
year.
You got young players. You could put in the rookie of the year, Stephon Castle, potentially in a trade like that.
Still have your draft picks, I imagine.
Still have plenty of draft capital available. I think they are a very dangerous team in this
And
situation.
you could pair up Wemby and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Well, we know that would be
Oh, my
great for San
goodness.
Antonio, but you just said that Milwaukee needs someone to sell, and it couldn't be Austin Reeves.
They can sell Fox.
Fox and
is
Castle.
way better than Reeves.
I'd
He's
definitely
way
go
better.
to Castle.
Okay.
Castle game?
Castle, rookie of the year.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you want to give up Castle if you're San Antonio.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to
You're
give
getting
up
Giannis.
something. Yeah, you're getting Giannis.
Oh, I mean,
Okay, here's a question. Do you think so? The first batch of teams that came out when these rumors first started were New York, LA, and maybe Miami. We love San Antonio. Perloff's going to be driving there soon to apologize to Wemby and get some breakfast tacos. That's still happening. Do you think he wants to go from Milwaukee to San Antonio? It's two small markets.
But I wonder if Popovich could sell him and pitch him on, I know how to build a champion.
That's fine. You know,
Also, the Texas lifestyle, no state taxes.
No state taxes, too, is pretty good.
Okay. So I guess here's the other part, though. I was just watching some footage of Popovich and when he stepped down from being a coach. He's still recovering.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit.
That is, it actually reminds me of another thing, not apples to apples. And we have no idea what, I'm sure his brain is super sharp and all of that. It's not that. And I'm not trying to be discriminatory, but he did look a little fragile. He needed help walking up to the podium. Reminds me a little, like you mentioned, when the Knicks got Carmelo Anthony. Well, when they made the pitch to LeBron James, poor Donnie Walsh was in a wheelchair wearing a neck brace.
Yep.
And we know now that it did turn off LeBron's camp, that he did look like he was older and kind of impaired.
But
and
I think
Dolan
Giannis
came in and strong-armed him anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I would say is that now Donnie Walsh is a
He's a good executive.
He's a great executive and a good NBA career guy. But I think Pop is like iconic. I almost wonder like if Giannis would almost.
As a coach, so was Phil Jackson.
But I mean, just as an NBA figure.
Yeah.
Like I think the whole league knows him and respects him and
Yeah.
kind of loves him, even if you didn't play for him. I kind of wonder if
Dream Team or not Dream Team.
if you
Team
kind of look at
USA.
that and say, hey, you know what, I do want to play for this guy because even though he's struggling, like
you guys are way
I believe
overthinking it. It's Wemby. I mean, he's not going to care who the executive is. If he wants to, if title is all he cares about, then you can sell San Antonio because of Wemby immediately. So, by the way, and also, actually, I'm also thinking, like, does San Antonio want to do they definitely want to give up too much for Giannis? Giannis' style, I don't know that this translates well into his 30s. That's the other thing. You said he's peak. He's at 30 now. He is not he's a very physical player. Big men tend to break down.
I know, but look how awesome. I know he has that injuries.
Yeah, I just
Still
think he
looks like a physical
You
freak.
know how Curry's been awesome to 36. Yeah, but is Giannis going to be able to he's never been a great shooter. I think he's out hustle, out run, out jump everybody. It's definitely not. You look at him, he feels like he might have peaked.
Our very own Andrew Kaplan in the chat right now, noted Celtics fan, said, please get this story out that the Knicks want Giannis because he wants Josh Hart and Kat to know that the Knicks want them out.
Oh, God.
Play of mind games as we're on the precipice of Game 4.
By the way, the one thing about Giannis breaking down, I mean, I'd say 2 weeks in as a Knick. I mean, give me a break. Like the Knicks are famous for having old guys break down. He would, of course. I was saying, like, maybe he has a good year or two somewhere else. He has a good week or two in New York. Sorry, guys.
Perloff just here to throw
Although
cold
usually they're
water
like
and
broken
everything.
down guards. That's more their style, right?
Yeah, Brunson's been really broken down and really good.
He's also very old.
New regime. 888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476. So that is the most up-to-date news we have for you, which is now the Giannis sweepstakes looks like it's going to begin in earnest. We do have the NBA
Snitches get stitches.
draft lottery tonight. Didn't know that was also a saying in Greece.
Evidently.
I'm kind of glad to know that's a
We kind of
universal
glossed
thing.
over that part of that story that he said, I grew up in a place where we said snitches get stitches.
I know.
Did they
I
say
want to
that
hear it in Greek.
Yeah, did they say that in Greek?
I don't know. There's only 7 movies on the youth of Giannis, all of which happen to be boring for some weird reason.
Which is incredible because he has an unreal
Yeah,
upbringing.
but like, did you ever try and watch those Disney shows? They just didn't translate for some reason.
Too glossy?
He's too nice. Like, how can you? There needs to be more drama with Giannis.
I do remember watching Troy, and they did say snitches get stitches. So
Yes, right when the Trojan horse just rolled right in.
right before Achilles' heel popped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it'd probably sound cooler in Greek.
Yeah. Actually, what happened to the story has been amplified over the years. He really tore his Achilles heel, and that's when they thought he was dead, like Kevin Durant style.
888-710-4-ISN. So we're going to write it down right now. Everyone writes down who they think is going to win the NBA draft lottery tonight. So who's going to get the right to draft Cooper Flagg, the Duke star. We also have some NFL news for you that you do not want to miss. MVP.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. So we are writing down on a piece of paper who the NBA is going to fix the NBA lottery for tonight. Because Maggie is convinced that it is always pre-planned by the league office, even though we have many journalists who go back there and watch the system go down and say that it is clean, going back to Patrick Ewing.
No, that's all part of it. You got to invite the reporters in and you show them this thing, and then you go into it. But they are never there for the actual selecting of the ping pong ball.
Right. Because the NBA,
they see the process, but they never actually see it happen.
Yeah, because the NBA is so competent. It only takes them 14 minutes to get the last 30 seconds of a game to go, and they can know exactly what they're doing. That's my problem with all your conspiracy theories is you give way too much credit to the supposed conspirators. But I will play along, and I will pick my team who's going to win the lottery. Are we going to do this now? We're going to...
Why don't we... So Bogus still has to write his down, so we're going to have
them
all
here. Well, we know
here
what Bogus is doing.
On the Nets, I mean, that's just wishful thinking, but I get it. We'll do all of them in just a little bit, writing down, calling our shot now. Who is the NBA going to give Cooper Flag to? Meanwhile, I'm actually very surprised by some poll results that we have on our X feed right now at Maggie and Pearl. Is it Derek Carr's fault that his career wasn't better? 61% of you were saying no. Listen, the Raiders deserve a lot of the blame. I understand that, but let's not pretend like Derek Carr, did he have flashes? No doubt. But Pearl, if he had been your franchise quarterback for all those years, you would have been so frustrated with this guy.
But Derek Carr? Yeah. I have no idea. I don't know. I saw this on social media, too. I'm like, why is everyone mad at Derek Carr? What did he do? I just don't think...
Not enough.
I just can't remember any moments like guys coming up short. He was never
the one playoff game he was in Cincinnati?
He just wasn't. I mean, that Cincinnati game, that's a classic meltdown? Hardly. I just think that he was on a bad team for years. It reminds me so much of Stafford in Detroit, where you look at the organization. I can't remember a big game where he came up totally short.
That's the thing. Not enough big games.
Right, which kind of he's under the radar.
The fact that you got 11 years as a starter, 9 with one franchise, made $200 million, and you just didn't make a dent. Like, I'm just trying to think. He's the all-time leading passer in the franchise record holder for the storied franchise of the Raiders, who I know have fallen on some hard times. I'm not an idiot. But the fact that he's the all-time leading passer with 0 playoff wins to show for it, just seems odd to me so now we're going to, start throwing parades for Carr?
Nobody's throwing a parade for Carr, but we're not throwing him under the bus for it either. I just think that he's Derek Carr. Like, he honestly had a nicer career than anybody expected. One thing, let me ask you this question.
That's easy to say if you're not a Raider fan.
He's 34. Do you think he's talented?
Obviously, he's talented to be in the league, but I don't think he's a big gamer.
But he's not a big gamer. Like, he was never in a big game to be a big gamer.
And whose fault is that?
It's the Raiders.
He's got to wear some of the blame for this.
Some of the blame, but I just don't think it's kind of hard to pin it all on Derek Carr because, again, maybe because he was so far under the radar, there were so many other things going wrong. Obviously, the Raiders screwed up a lot of drafts around him. Many, many years. not just 1-2 years. Actually, since the year they picked him, they made nothing but bad picks. I mean, I could go through their list of first rounders. It is a sort of cavalcade of losers.
Listen, yes, the Raiders were not a great organization, but obviously he was also not a good enough quarterback to even partially transcend this. Like, I'm not even putting him on the Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. We're not even putting him anywhere.
Those guys wouldn't have had a chance there either.
No, we're not. Well, I don't know about that because Josh Allen walked into not a very good Bills team, and look at what he was able to do. And that, wasn't even enjoying good weather or anything like that. I think that Carr, I just don't know who gets that much time and that much money as a starter without any postseason success, no MVPs, not even close to being in the running for that. A couple Pro Bowls, okay, great, but there's just nothing there. It's going to be a very forgettable career, in my opinion. Now, maybe he gets into broadcasting or something. Maybe we remember him more for that. You're right. He is 34. He's got a lot more to do with his life. So,
yeah, I don't think he's done. Because I do think, apparently it was a super huge mess in New Orleans. And it's this whole thing has been fishy since the beginning of the offseason, where the money wasn't quite right. And then they fired his coach. Obviously, he was there because of Dennis Allen. Everything's been off with New Orleans. So we'll see if he's really done. He did send out a retirement notice and his shoulders hurt. But I just honestly think, you're saying like he's a big game. Like if Trevor Lawrence never wins, then we can say all these things about Trevor Lawrence. But Derek Carr is almost not good enough to say all these things about. He's not a letdown in the sense where he didn't disappoint the franchise. I mean, they've made so many mistakes.
Fan. I mean, so here,
go ahead. I mean, honestly, you're not blaming all the Mike Mayock picks?
So here's another thing. I think that, when Derek Carr was available, right? We were talking about Matthew Stafford was also kind of having this sort of not all that impressive career. Now, Stafford, better player, number 1 overall pick, bigger arm, the whole deal. But Sean McVay, one of the great offensive minds, was like, you know what? I need Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
And moved a lot. Carr was there to be had. You're saying, he walked into Saints organization, which was also like a dumpster fire. Well, no one else wanted him. The Jets passed on him for Aaron Rodgers. And there was no one else really in the running. So I think the league kind of told you what they thought of Derek Carr 2 years ago, that only the Saints, who nobody trusts right now, were the ones who actually ponied up for him.
Well, it was a lot of money, and how many teams had vacancies?
No, but he had been cut.
How much did he get?
No, he got a lot from the Saints, but nobody else was even, besides the Jets, who took him out to dinner once and then told him no thanks. It's not like he had this big market,
Well, there weren't that many teams that needed a quarterback, and
everyone needs a quarterback.
But he was paying full price. Did they pay him retail? Didn't he make a ton of money? So somebody would have had to outbid the Saints for Derek Carr. I'm just saying the market spoke it. He made $30-something million a year. What did he make? He made a big contract.
Right. But okay, so if you just did 9 years with the Raiders that we're acknowledging as a dumpster fire, and then now you're on the open market. Presumably, you want to go to a place you can win. No.
Well, yeah.
You're talking about could he get linked up with, Kyle Shanahan? Shanahan could have had him.
But Shanahan probably offered him $8 million or something. Then he got one of the biggest contracts in the NFL from the Saints.
$8 million. That's backup money.
I'm saying Shanahan had no money to offer him. I'm sure that, but it wasn't like he was in a market. Yeah, why couldn't you win with the Saints? That seems like a good spot to me.
You just called him a dumpster fire.
Well, no, this year, I'm saying there's something wrong with him right now. When he went there, of course you could win with the Saints. That would be a good spot. Breeze he went there, 2023?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's not a bad spot. You're right. But Derek Carr, you were just comparing to Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was number 1 overall pick, had 5,000 yards. He's already on trajectory to be one of the leading passers in NFL history. Yeah, Stafford was better, but that's not a crime against Derek Carr.
I'm just saying the league spoke, right? And they're just the two teams that were interested were the Jets and the Saints, which are not exactly the creme de la creme. This wasn't Andy Reid didn't come calling or anyone close to that.
Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets.
Yeah.
So you're saying.
And how'd that go? 888-710-4ISN.
4-year, $150 million deal with the Saints. That's huge.
It's bad money, though.
It's a terrible contract.
Well, yeah, but at the time, though, I think the market spoke in the sense that I think Derek Carr was sought after to a degree. Listen, Derek Carr is still going to be sought after. You don't think he's going to get a lot of calls? There are a lot of coaches who like Derek Carr. I mean, he could go, even in the Saints, as bad as it was, his numbers are really good. And when he got hot at the end of last year, if he had been healthy all last year, I think they might have even been a playoff team. But he only played 10 games.
I understand why Joe Flacco is even more sought after. I'm not going to understand Carr. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, we have guesses, educated guesses. Who is the NBA going to rig the lottery for tonight? Just kidding. Kinda. Bogus, you want to do your update first? You want to do this first?
It's your call. Still Mother's Day. Your choice.
Is it?
Yeah, around here.
All right.
You got another half an hour.
Great. Let's reveal our choices. Manny, can I get a little music or something? Perfect. All right, Pearl, you want to go first or last?
I'll go first. If you're watching on YouTube, it says, "Hello, my name is Cooper." Line from Book of Mormon. Utah Jazz. Let's go. Number one in odds, although they flatten the odds, so they're tied with the three teams around them. 14% chance to get Cooper Flag. I think it is a Utah basketball renaissance because they got the All-Star game. Seems like the league is in to Utah, and so I'm sticking with your conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
And I think that they want the Jazz to be a thing.
All right. I said it before in the show, but let's make it official. It's going to be the Wizards. Jaden Daniels now in D.C. D.C. sports having a little bit of a renaissance. And I think that, Commanders moving back to D.C. proper, we believe, with their new stadium. Now you got the Wizards going to be playing in downtown D.C., Chinatown area. Very, very fun. I used to live there. Washington Wizards get a bailout.
The block letters are adorable.
Well, thank you.
All right, no one understood my Book of Mormon reference. I just want to go back. Has anyone seen that movie?
No. I've never seen it.
Movie?
Or the show?
Yeah. I actually went to that show and fell asleep. EJ, what
Oh, God. Don't tell me. You didn't like Book of Mormon?
No, I loved it. I was just extremely tired.
It sounds like you really loved it.
So, Bogus will love this, but I'm going Brooklyn Nets here. So I'm going with the Nets. I think that the NBA likes to reward teams that have been through a lot with stars that are disgruntled. So the Pelicans had to go through all that stuff, and they got Zion. The Cavs had to go all the stuff with LeBron. They got Kyrie Irving and Anthony Bennett, which didn't work out that great. So I think this is going to happen to the Nets. The Nets dealt with a lot of crap with Harden, Durant, and Irving. I think this is their give back. Nets get Cooper Flag.
Wow. A minute?
I will second Andrew Perloff. I will go with the Utah Jazz. They will get Cooper Flag, I think, for all the reasons Perloff stated. And additionally, listen, Cooper Flag, he might be amazing. I don't think the Jazz will be good this year also. So, they might be right back into the lottery next year, and they'll try to get that dude from BYU, AJ Didibensis.
AJ Dipastanza.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, folks.
I just realized I'm the Jordan Hudson of Nets broadcasters. I'm the second runner-up to Chris Carino.
And look as good in formal wear?
Utah, I do like my legs. My head says the Jazz because Ryan Smith, right? I mean, he's a kind of up-and-coming owner. He's got a lot of power, a lot of sway.
Yeah.
So my head says Jazz, but much like EJ, my heart says Nets, who will certainly have a top 3 pick. The Nets will not go to bed without Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, or or Ace Bailey from Rutgers.
Okay. The Nets getting rewarded to me is like them rewarding the 76ers.
It is not at all, Maggie. Don't go there.
Oh,
Wait,
can
I ask? Bailing out this team for
Sixers.
these terrible contracts.
Also, in my hypothesis, Sixers fall out of the top 6 and they lose their draft pick. That's also what's happening in my hypothetical.
Wait, I love when we do this game, and you and EJ are good at explaining why the NBA rewarded different franchises through the last years. Like, why did they give Sixers 2016 and 17 back-to-back? Oh, actually, no, the Sixers did win that one, did they? They traded.
But
they traded.
Why would they give the Sixers mid-process a number 1 overall pick with Ben Simmons?
They were desperate. The Sixers were a disaster. They need to get Philly back as a market.
Okay, so and why'd they give
This is my thoughts on the Wizards getting the pick tonight. They want the big market.
Why would the Atlanta Hawks?
They didn't have a draft pick before, and this one was a throwaway. So give a team a story. Here's your first number 1 pick in NBA history for the Atlanta Hawks.
Why the Magic with Boncaro?
The Magic have a long history with getting number 1 pick big men. Shaq, Dwight Howard, Chris Webber.
Pistons, Cade Cunningham?
Yeah, I have to remember more about that one. That was... Detroit they hadn't won a playoff game in a
decade.
But
this needed it. You could talk about any of the teams in the lottery.
Well, I think
but
also
some of those teams
Detroit...
you mentioned, though, they were dead franchise. Detroit, they're opening new arena.
New arena.
Yeah,
As I say, new arena, and also didn't the city bring themselves out of bankruptcy like right around that time? So a little positivity.
T-Wolves and Anthony Edwards in 2020.
They were selling the franchise.
Yep.
Needed to pump the value up. We could do this all day,
Yeah,
man.
but
Go back to Patrick Ewing.
The only flaw in the system is the Hawks. We had nothing else to do was to give it to Atlanta. That's the only flimsy reason. Everything else makes total sense.
You know, they're terrible teams throughout this entire lottery. All 10 of these teams need it.
So LeBron James himself came out and said he thought his own lottery was rigged. Like, he even raised an eyebrow and said, really? I'm from Akron, Ohio, and the Cavs just happened to get the number one.
You're right. Because LeBron is just an arbiter of truth in this world.
No, that's like if Neil Armstrong said, the moon landing. Like, come on, guys. He was there.
You really think about golf clubs up there?
Lottery?
What are you, crazy?
I'm saying he's a part of the whole situation.
But you guys make it sound like it's so obvious. So we just basically picked 2 people went the Nets, 2 people went the Jazz, and you went the Wizards. So what's obvious about this year? And there's a generational.
I just gave you my reason.
Laid it out for you. We have all different picks. That's what I'm saying. It's not so obvious. I mean, you give 10 different people, they're going to have 10 different opinions.
2 sets of people had the same picks.
Yeah.
It was
Including
pretty close.
you.
Right.
Yeah.
Which one is obvious?
Clearly, people think that the Jazz or the Nets on this show is going to be obvious.
Right.
And Bo's one was picked the Jazz.
And there could certainly be more than one deserving team in the lottery. Like to have this put in their favor. It doesn't have to be just one.
Also, or is it possible just a random luck? They'll just pick a team out of the hat.
Yes, it's on the table. The ping pong balls are legitimate.
There are multiple people that were, they were qualified to be the Pope, but you got to pick one.
Here's the question: do you think Cooper Flagg would have won Miss Maine? Because I bet he would have.
I think he
could qualify.
And Mr. Maine, he would have swept the state.
Imagine during the skills competition, it's just him just doing between dunks.
While someone else is playing piano.
All the reasons you guys just said apply to all these teams in the top 8.
No, we don't need to revive the Wizards or the Hornets.
Maggie picked the Wizards.
She's wrong. The Wizards and the Horns are not winning this.
We didn't pick the 76ers because we don't think they deserve it.
Ooh, I don't know. I think they're eyeing Cooper in that market. It's a big market.
God, I need that pick to drop to 6. I need it so bad.
No, you need 7, right?
7.
Yeah.
Give me a 8,
You see, I would
9.
argue the Sixers, they know that Embiid's not going anywhere. They don't want that franchise to become irrelevant. New Orleans, maybe they're worried about the same thing. New Orleans just falling off the map.
New Orleans has screwed them because they've gotten the number 1 pick twice now after stars that were disgruntled with Chris Paul and Anthony Davis. So, all right, here's your number 1 pick. Make it happen. And they kept screwing up. So,
but they know Zion's going to leave and they might need someone there.
Right, another disgruntled star. So they're like, you know what? No, you've shown that you're not doing anything with these number 1 picks. At least with the Cavs, they were able to cash in.
Wait, one more. I'm sorry, one more. Could you see San Antonio? Wouldn't that make a lot of sense?
It's too obvious.
I mean, they just got Wemby.
Too obvious is one of the reasons. It's too obvious.
Yeah, you can't get 100 on the test. It's like, we're gonna give Wemby. Last year he has a Rookie of the Year. Now he's got a number 1 pick in the draft, Cooper Flagg.
I mean, just think of skill set wise, who combines pretty good with Wemby? Cooper Flagg.
Not if Giannis is in San Antonio. Like we were just hypothesizing last segment. 888-710-4ISN. Bogues, can you hang?
Again, do I have a choice?
No.
Okay.
It is the Maggie and Perloff Show. We got headlines for you. We got all the latest, including a quarterback battle.
Brought this on yourself, Bogus.
Protect your mental. Maggie and Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie Perloff Show. We've all made our selections where we think the NBA will send Cooper Flagg, and by that we mean the draft lottery is tonight. A little bit of a conspiracy theorist on this one. So we got 2 votes for the Utah Jazz, 2 votes for the Nets, and I'm the lone wolf who is voting for the Washington Wizards. Andrew Bogish is here with all the latest headlines and what turned out to be a very busy weekend.
Yes, we'll begin with a pseudo update on Giannis's future. ESPN saying that is now debating whether or not Milwaukee is the best place for him long term, but no actual decision right now on what he wants to do. Now, part of Giannis's apparent frustration is a third straight first-round exit for his Bucks. The Cavaliers now flirting with a second-round exit, falling into a 3-1 hole with a 129-109 loss in Indy last night. The Pacers led that game 80-39 at halftime, 41 points, matching the largest halftime deficit in postseason history, at least as long as we've been doing play-by-play data. Darius Garland among the helpless Cavs.
He was pushing us off our spot. They was more aggressive than us. They were being really physical. That's what they said that it was going to do coming into this game. And we had no answer for that.
And there's concern for Donovan Mitchell's left ankle, which kept him out of the second half last night. Mitchell says he'll be fine for Game 5, but's getting an MRI today. All of that happened after the Thunder fought off the Nuggets in Denver, 92-87. OKC gets even at 2 games all, despite trailing by 8 early in the fourth quarter. For the first time since 2021, the Eagles and Cowboys will play in September. And for the first time since 2000, they'll play in Week 1. That's because Dallas is going to Philly for the opening Thursday night of the coming season. We are also getting announcements today from Fox and Amazon Prime about some select games. And a different report says that Peacock is getting an exclusive game on the Saturday night of Week 17. It's a couple of days after Christmas. Don't know the matchup for that one just yet. The Florida Panthers did not win the last Stanley Cup by accident.
Bennett walks in front, makes a move, and he scores! Sam Bennett gives the Panthers a 2-0 lead with 7:50 to play here in the third. Playoff Sam doubles the Panthers' lead.
Florida alive and well, tying their second-round series with Toronto at 2 games apiece with a 2-0 home win. Sergei Bobrovsky, the 23-save shutout. You might have noticed that the Colorado Rockies lost to the Padres on Saturday, 21-0.
Is that bad?
The Rockies actually won yesterday, but still fired longtime manager Bud Black afterwards. Third base coach Warren Schaefer is in charge the rest of the season. Now, Black mentored Dodgers manager Dave Roberts, so Roberts came to his defense yesterday saying not even Casey Stengel could fix Colorado's mess. Right?
Honestly, they did Bud Black a favor.
Yeah.
Because there was no chance they were going to be competitive. He's right. They didn't spend any money on the team, and it's not a good team. And now Bud Black doesn't have to manage them anymore.
What is it, May 12th, and they're already, 18 games back of the first place?
They have 8 wins, I think.
That's incredible. 7, I think. That's incredible.
On the field last night, the Phillies got a 3-0 win in Cleveland for a 5-1 road trip. Those 3 runs courtesy of 2 Kyle Schwarber homers.
Sandwich.
Sepp Straka, a 2-shot win at the Truist Championship. That's golf. And Kyle Larson got his 3rd win of the NASCAR season at Kansas Speedway yesterday. Manny Vroom Vroom telling me that Larson will soon try the vaunted Indy 500, Coca-Cola 600 double.
I'm 2 feet in on that one.
Oh, I love those.
2 feet in.
Yeah.
Trying to pull off 2 races in one day. It's awesome.
So cool. By the way, were you guys ready for the PGA this week? I was not.
No, but I passed by the blimp that was over top of it in Philadelphia this
Oh,
weekend.
okay.
My kid was fascinated by, the one part of the Giannis story that we're completely glossing, which is Giannis and Shams reporting that Giannis is open now to being traded somewhere. What's Doc Rivers going to do? How's the spin doctor going to spin this one? Because he's going to talk about it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, is he back in Milwaukee? I assume he'll follow the Stars somewhere else.
He's going to follow Giannis to a new city?
I don't know. I can't imagine him long from a rebuilding Milwaukee team.
He always seems to level up somehow.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Where's his next?
When Dame's got one leg, I mean, next year would be a disaster if they trade Giannis. Imagine the spin we would get from Doc.
I think he's going to spin his way out to a golf course somewhere.
I know. I think he's spinning to a broadcast booth.
Or that.
Yeah. For a year.
He's just going to resign?
Yeah.
Are they?
No, he'll spin it to be like, I got to
spend
time with my family.
Yeah, my health. I got to take care of my health.
I got to take care of my throat.
Finally let it heal.
I haven't been able to talk in 25 years. All the yelling at DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah. He actually wants to be a doc. He's going to go back to school.
Someone to fix those vocal cords. They're shot.
Yeah, him going back to medical school would be like Michael Jordan going to play baseball. My dad always wanted to play baseball, so I'm playing baseball. They called me a doctor. They named me Doc.
I think that he could be a doc, like when people used to say Dr. Jerry Buss. Did anyone really look into that? He was not an MD.
Oh,
he was like the doctor of vibes, wasn't he?
He was a science guy. Yeah,
he's an oil guy.
Yeah, he I want to say he was not instrumental, but in terms of the space race and stuff. I think.
I thought he was a geologist. He was a space race guy.
They did this
Physical
whole thing.
chemistry.
They did this whole thing in
feels like that's 3 very different things.
What's the show called? Winning Time.
Winning Time.
Yeah, Winning Time. They did a whole thing about how he knows all the stuff about astrophysics. I think.
Oh, I thought he was an oil guy who did stuff to get more gas. But you could be right. I do remember he was a
he's
real
very
doctor.
like kind of famously or infamously like not that rich before he bought the Lakers. Like he barely bought the team.
Physical chemistry and then later real estate. I thought he was the doctor of good vibes.
I thought he was a plastic surgeon. Isn't that part of the Winning Time show?
He definitely wasn't a plastic surgeon.
Where he just scout ladies there? There's definitely a plastic surgeon angle, I feel like, at the beginning of Winning Time, as he's becoming the Lakers owner.
I don't remember a plastic surgeon.
Maybe an admirer of the work of the plastic surgeon. Anyway, Doc Rivers.
Yeah, I
White
could have
coat.
swore I watched this in Winning Time where he was talking about like he knew a lot about space and stuff.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. His Wikipedia page confirms
Okay,
that
cool.
suspicion. Yeah.
Oh, of course, Wikipedia.
Yeah. 100% true.
Knew a lot about space and stuff.
Well, hey, you said he wasn't a real
Congrats,
doctor,
Joe.
Maggie. So
I did say that.
Space, the final frontier.
I thought he was the doctor of the club that was above the forum.
and I'm like, I don't know. He's basically like Luke Skywalker.
Ludicrous speed. Okay. Pearl, not into this combo. Are you looking up his doctoral?
I'm trying to find. I'm trying to remember. Looking at Jerry Buss's background. Yeah, he was. Doc Rivers. How did Doc Rivers get that nickname? By the way, I'm dying to know.
I feel like I knew that a long time ago, and now I don't remember.
Len Doc Rivers.
Got some other polls to update for you. Is it Derek Carr's fault his career wasn't better? No is leading the way, 60% to 40%. And who is the team to beat in the NBA playoffs? So who's playing the best? Celtics are winning this poll, 40%, then Thunder, then Pacers, other receiving 12% of the vote.
What time, by the way? I'm sorry, is the lottery on? Like, what are we going to do around this? Now I'm really invested because I have to be honest.
Cooper Flag, you're talking about?
I really want none of us to be right about the lottery, and then I want to see you guys come in and say, well, of course that team won. Because that's exactly how you guys operate. I am waiting for, well, of course Toronto won. I mean, have you even been paying attention, Perloff?
I'd be genuinely shocked if Toronto won. Not because I love Toronto. They're a great city. I just feel like the relationship right now is not great between the U.S. and Canada. Right? Would the NBA want to walk into a political thing potentially? Because all you need is one Trump tweet, and now all of a sudden you got that to deal with.
The NBA has a very notable ally who the country isn't exactly on the same page with.
That's true. It's the country of China. I understand that, but
the odds, by the way, just so we're clear, it is interesting because it goes 14%, 14%, 14%, 12%, 10%, 9%, 8%. So there are 5 teams with like a pretty good chance to get number one. It really does seem, to me, I'm going to maintain it's luck. Maybe I'm the fool, but I guarantee no matter who wins, I guarantee there's going to be the 2 words, of course, that team won.
Yeah, definitely. Do it all the way.
I will always fall for it and take the bait.
You want the doc explanation?
Yeah, please.
Okay, again, from Wikipedia, it says that this was in high school, or he was at a camp at Marquette wearing a Dr. J t-shirt, and either Al McGuire or Rick Majerus just called him Doc off the Dr. J t-shirt, and it just stuck.
That's great. So he's not a doctor?
He is not a doctor.
2 pretty cool people to give you a nickname, even if it's a cop after Dr. J.
I feel like, I don't know. In high school, I feel like you're too young to be called Doc. Like Doc is like some 55-year-old
Also,
Like OG
I just think the
Doc
idea
is
of
like
getting
my
a nickname
barber or
if you're wearing a guy's t-shirt, like, are they going to call like a 14-year-old star LeBron now? Or, oh, look, hey, it's Ant-Man. No, not that Ant-Man. It's the other Ant-Man who's wearing the Ant-Man t-shirt.
Only if he's good enough. So interesting tonight. We'll see who gets Cooper Flag. See if EJ and Manny's Knicks come out tight tonight in a game against the Celtics. And then obviously got the Warriors and Ant-Man is the nightcap.
The real Ant-Man. Let's go, Knicks! And okay, the lottery happens in between the 2 games or before the
it happens
first game?
before the Knicks game. For Knicks Celtics.
7 o'clock.
Oh, man. Remember you used to pay attention to who's in the room, and there was a good luck charm for Cleveland, and then Kevin Love would show up all the time?
I'm doing that tonight.
Remember, it used to be the late Dan Gilbert's late son was like a big,
the bow ties.
Yeah, he was great. And
waste of energy, right, to worry about good luck when it was all fixed.
Well, I mean, was it Dave DeBuscher who used to bring the rabbit's foot? Somebody used to bring
DeBuscher?
I think so.
Sounds right. What a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. To leave this to ping pong balls just seems really silly.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL leaves it to being a really bad team. That doesn't make any sense either.
We'll see how long that lasts. Also, it hasn't stopped tanking, by the way. Teams are still outright tanking.
Well, you're saying the NFL could learn from whatever's going to happen tonight? Be like, yeah, well, let's go to our lottery.
I'm sorry. You can't find the NFL right now. They're currently in Brazil, headquartered. Thank you, EJ Stewart. Thank you to Manny Rodriguez. Andrew Bogusch, good to have you back. Andrew Kaplan, Guido's Coffee Drinkers. See ya.